lowest level in years. The first policy vote since June last year that did not feature some form of opposition. But the apparent unanimity among officials belies the challenging position that Mr. Warsh finds himself in, having been handpicked for the job by President Trump, who's waged a relentless pressure campaign on the US central bank to lower borrowing costs. Delivering that's become all but impossible because of the war with Iran and the inflation that it's unleashed.
British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer could be facing a leadership challenge. It comes after Andy Burnham won a by-election in Greater Manchester. It means he's now a Member of Parliament and can challenge the Prime Minister, as FSN's John Beaver explains.
Of course, those who are the political opponents of the Labour Party, they say, well, if you're going to have this change in Prime Minister, then really it should go back to the people, that you should have this general election. But that's not how the system works. Of course, remember, with the previous Conservative Party, we saw a huge number of changes of the top job from Boris Johnson onwards, and all of that happened without a general election.
Senior security officials from across the BRICS bloc are convening in Delhi this coming week for a high-stakes meeting that could shape the agenda for a leaders' summit in September. The grouping includes China, Russia and Iran. And that's the Week in Review. That's Feature Story News. Nick Harper reporting.
The manatee is a solitary creature, drifting along in the warm, peaceful shallows. They are not usually held in a small glass enclosure with 3 other male manatees hell-bent on the violent forced sex that I, for real, saw with my own eyes while alone one night at SeaWorld, San Diego. A distant relative of the elephant, the manatee has a prehensile upper lip which it uses to gather food. It also has a large penis. Classified as endangered, human boaters often cause serious wounds to manatees' flippers, rendering it difficult for this one poor little rescue manatee to escape a large male manatee intent on unwanted anal intercourse. One needed not to look in that little manatee victim's cold, soul-sapped eyes to know this was not the first time this had happened, nor would it be the last.
This is the Onion News Network.
Yep, we still do email. Drop your email address in the entry box at freetalklive.com, and you'll be kept in the loop with Free Talk Live. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and the number to call in and get in on the conversation with us is 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. With you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
FCC will do it live. It's Riley O'Bill.
And Angelo.
And we talked... I don't remember right now if it was only during a pre-recorded episode or if we talked on regular air too about this story from Utah and Oregon where...
I think it was a pre-recorded show because I was not on and...
Oh, so you haven't commented on the Utah...
I haven't commented on the Utah Lego scandal.
So in Utah, but also in Oregon, because it started there was this scandal that happened and a YouTuber took kind of the reins on trying to help this young guy and his older family or older dad to recover their Legos and also profits from their Legos that they had given to basically a consignment shop for Legos, which is called Bricks and Minifigs. I feel like for whatever reason that's like hard to enunciate. It's bricks, like a brick of a Lego, and minifigs, like the mini figures in the Legos. If people don't know what I'm saying, it's just like, I feel like if I just like, raw say bricks and minifigs, people are going to be like, what the heck did she say? You know what I mean? Like, anyways, that's how I feel whenever people were saying it to me. I didn't know what the heck they were trying to tell me. So anyways, yeah, Bricks and Minifigs is a consignment shop and they sell Legos, and they took the largest Lego collection in the world, or was it the largest like personal
Largest Star Wars
Lego collection in the world.
Yeah, I think Angela's correct. It's the largest Star Wars collection in the world.
Yeah, this old guy started collecting it in the 90s to save up for his grandchildren's college funds and stuff. And then when they go to sell it, of course they're going to go to Bricks and Minifigs, their local franchise of it in Oregon, in Salem, Oregon. And those people tried to steal the... the people who were the franchise owners didn't, because corporate took that franchise location over, and corporate tried to steal the Legos, the ones that didn't already sell. So they sued, they won a little bit of money, but they still... What was the next thing they were looking to get back still? Because, they like got a little bit of money. Maybe it was just a settlement.
I don't remember.
Well, no, they won. I think so. What happened is the YouTuber then got involved after that whole mix-up with
Reckless Ben. Is the YouTuber.
Reckless Ben is the one who got involved, and what he did is he ended up buying the sets from the original consignee. So now instead of having it be the old man and the son's problem, they sold them to Reckless Ben. And
okay, so they got made whole, yeah.
And then he put them through like a lottery system so he could give them to all his friends, right? He did like a raffle in Oregon for these sets. And then they went and they put 10 different lawsuits through in small claims court in Oregon.
Because they like basically were owed the sets but didn't have them, is the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were able to sue.
A bunch of pink slips got passed around. So now these people technically had the claim to these Lego sets that nobody can seem to find. Even right now, nobody can seem to find these Lego sets.
That's a little crazy. You would think that somewhere, somehow, someone would have a record of these Lego sets going to somebody.
Oh, they have the records of where they went. The people just say they're not there. Which is they went to corporate, and corporate says, we don't know what you're talking about.
That's insane.
It's kind of hard to compress this story because there's so many crazy like moving parts in this. And lots of it was like pretty entertaining on the part of Reckless Ben because he like is a YouTuber who kind of is, I guess, his claim to fame kind of is going in and kind of fixing things in a really creative and unexpected ways. Like, I watched his whole series after we had talked about this. I had never seen him before on YouTube at all. And I watched his whole series, all of his videos that he has about, what's it called? McCamey Manor. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
It's this place in Tennessee that I had heard of it before, but I probably wouldn't have known it by name really until I watched his videos because like I hear about it sometimes in different like documentaries and things like that, but it's McCamey, I don't remember right now, Manor is a place in Tennessee in the middle of nowhere, and it's some dude's house, but he advertises it as the most extreme haunted house in the world. He says that there is 17,000 people on the waiting list at all times, and that people want to go there and get like tortured within an inch of their life, but they have to sign NDAs and stuff like that.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Well, he actually has hurt a lot of people really bad, the guy who owns it, but allegedly, according to those people, and according to some footage that Ben got, but anyways, but he does things in such a weird legal way, but the main thing that Ben like kind of exposed was that this guy's just a fraud. Like every time he signed up, first of all, he would get a text back in like 20 minutes and he'd be like, whoa, what are the odds? Out of 17,000 people, they chose me. Just like exposing that there's not 17,000 people or whatever in the waiting line.
Interesting.
And then it ended up being the guy getting him to do basically like exercises on his front lawn and like waterboarding him with his hose and stuff like that. And he would always hang in front of like a carrot. He'd be like, if you can get through this, then you'll be ready to go into the actual haunted house. But really, no one's ever quote unquote made it into the haunted house. So he just like tortures people and they've signed off on stuff in his front yard, like in a really lame way. The haunted house doesn't exist.
Huh.
So it's been fake the whole time?
Basically,
how much does he charge for waterboarding somebody on the front lawn?
I don't remember off the top of my head how much it costs, but you have to pay.
That's an interesting grip to put a carrot out there saying, you're going to get through this, we're going to put you in the house.
And those videos he made were so entertaining because he did things that you would think like not possible. Like he somehow hacked the McCamey Manor's Facebook page and was taking it over just like live streaming, talking about how it was fake. And like every time the owner would kick him out, he just came right back in because he couldn't figure out how he was doing it.
That's funny.
he also, like, at one point, it's like the guy's like, all right, you need to leave my yard, because the owner is starting to, like, catch on to him. And he's like, all right, I'm just going to call Uber. And it's the middle of nowhere. So his friend ends up being the Uber driver. And he's like, how are you the Uber driver? And then the car breaks down. And then a mechanic shows up, and it's another one of his friends. And it's so funny. Like, they really, like, troll the guy and
I
go
love
after
it.
him legally and stuff. They eventually
That's funny.
They at one point actually got legal control, like legal ownership of the haunted house.
Oh, they took like.
I don't know how they did it. Okay. I didn't understand, like, or at least I can't explain it.
All right.
Like in a quick manner. And oh my god, it was so good. But I'm just trying to give people a little idea of what they do or whatever on this channel. He does things like this often. Apparently, it's not like his first rodeo. But yeah, so back to the bricks and minifigs people.
It sounds like he's a true social justice warrior.
Yeah, kind of. Like people that, like, don't have any way to defend themselves.
Yeah, and like in the most base sense of just what those words mean.
Yeah, just like right and wrong. It's like he clearly has a sense of right and wrong, and he's good at being like, well, if you can't fight for yourself, I'm going to help. And guess what else he did in the haunted house one? He set up the most exhilarating haunted house of all time and actually gave people entrance into it. I don't know how he did it. He had people climbing up on like one of those bridges in New York City and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
I know. It was really crazy.
Like getting
awesome.
chased or like...
No, I don't think. I think it was just part of like almost like an obstacle course. It looked so crazy. But some of that was like, oh, go to Patreon to see all of this, you know?
Yeah.
So he just does things like... The person who's the bad guy is always getting like trolled and beat at their own games and stuff like that. It's so great.
Just dunked on.
Yes. So I feel like with the bricks and minifigs thing, we explained kind of the beginning of it, and then things escalated. This article from MSN says, bricks and minifigs sued Schneider, which is
Ben Schneider.
Ben.
Yep.
Manzel and others, and Manzel was like the original owner, alleging a coordinated multi-platform campaign of false accusations against the company. Schneider was arrested, briefly claimed he'd fled to Mexico over a warrant, though American Fork Police in Utah said there were no active warrants for him. He denies wrongdoing and calls his work a legitimate investigation. That's the compressed version, according to MSN. The full timeline involves leaked crisis management emails, restraining orders, the police department is reportedly getting flooded with angry calls, and more. What Bricks and Minifigs is actually denying, it says. The company's new statement to Dextero addresses the fundraiser directly. Bricks and Minifigs said that at no point did it make any legal attempt to seize the Manzel family GoFundMe or any other GoFundMe account. Okay, I guess we didn't really cover that. Apparently, they claimed that Bricks and Minifigs tried to take their GoFundMe. I didn't hear about that.
Well, Ben ended up getting served with a bunch of lawsuits. I guess including Manzel and others. They got served through an email system. So they were emailed their service.
That's crazy.
A judge approved getting emailed the service. I guess you can do that in Utah.
Like have that, like the real requirements waived.
Yeah, so that like put a gag order on him to where he himself is not allowed to speak about the case. So he has like videos and stuff he's made already to like update folks on what's going on. Mm-hmm. He's not allowed to talk about it.
Yep.
So the rest of the internet's kind of had to pick up the slack and do some sleuthing themselves.
Which is really sad that a man in a robe, or a woman in a robe, or a dress, or whatever, a woman wearing a costume, or a man wearing a costume, if you will, can just restrict someone's freedom of speech over a case.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
they're just people with titles, folks.
I wish I knew more.
There's nothing weird about there's nothing unique about their power. It just doesn't exist.
I agree. I wish that we knew more about like the actual way that we got to this point, because I feel like this MSN, it's like big break in the middle of now we're giving the update. But whatever, that's the update. It says that the denial matters because the fundraiser briefly vanished. Yeah, it's not very good explanation. The fundraiser on GoFundMe, I guess. Schneider claimed in a June 9th video titled My Final Message that he couldn't post the next part of his investigation without risking jail time, and worried the donated money could go straight to this mystery company. Oh, he was, okay, it's quoted like that because that's what he was saying, because he wasn't allowed to talk about bricks and minifigs anymore, so he was speaking like kind of in code.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
says the GoFundMe did go down, showing a fundraiser not found message before being restored on June 10th. By then, it had reportedly climbed to $457,000 of a $500,000 goal. Bricks and Minifig's statement denies any seizure attempt, but doesn't explain why the page temporarily disappeared. The company framed the whole affair as an isolated and unfortunate event related to a single former franchisee. Where are the Legos? Come on. It is so easy to fix this.
I think, it is so easy to fix this. Why would this multi-million-dollar company has picked the ugliest hill to die on?
Yeah, they'd rather pick on the little guy than actually cough up the Legos or demonstrate that they actually don't know what they're talking about. But I feel like, and I think that there's something going on here that they're not willing to talk about because it might uncover some layers in their company or their organization.
I feel like I thought about this before, but I probably forgot to say, I don't think I said it before. I was like, what if the old guy and the franchisee didn't realize something about these Legos was like special in some way? And like maybe there's some misprint on something and it's like worth way more than $200,000. And so they're just like, we can't give these back to them.
So why wouldn't you just pay them off to get them to shut up?
And didn't they kind of already do that by getting sued? That's what I'm
No, because they Reckless Ben is the one who ended up Ben sued to get the Legos back for himself because he ended up just.
But then they ended up getting paid, so I don't understand how it's like not over at that point. You know what I mean?
Well, now it's between Ben and Bricks and Minifigs.
Yeah.
To get the Legos back. So Ben was trying to sue them, and now Bricks and Minifigs has opened a secondary lawsuit. Now they're suing Ben and Mansell back.
No, I get that, but I'm just saying when they sued and got $200,000, they didn't get any money yet?
No, because the Bricks and Minifigs just closed.
But Ben just, out of his own pocket or maybe donations or something, paid the old guys, but Bricks and Minifigs never paid
anybody.
Them. Okay.
Bricks and Minifigs has paid no one.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. If my theory was correct, they could just pay them the $200,000. Maybe at this point it's about like not admitting wrong. Maybe they got sold and they're lost or something or damaged and they're just like don't want to admit wrong and then lose $200,000.
Well, supposedly they were put on a U-Haul. So corporate sent a franchise owner from Eugene, Oregon, which is an hour and a half south from Salem, to go. At first, he was sent to go spy on the Salem store to see what's around, and then he was sent again to take it over. And according to the original franchise owners of the Salem store, that when the Eugene man showed up, that there was a U-Haul involved, and they took a lot of the inventory back down to Eugene, and a Eugene store owner, a Eugene store worker, corroborated that there was a U-Haul full of Legos, which both Bricks and Minifigs, the CEOs, have denied until people pull up this U-Haul. Like, they have pictures of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And they just keep getting caught in lies. They keep going out in public and getting on these like different podcasts.
Wow,
like
the owners?
Yeah, like the CEO.
The CoffeeZilla, is that what you're about to say?
Yeah, he got on with CoffeeZilla and just made himself look like a fool.
Is CoffeeZilla like on their side?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I only said that because I see the name here in the article. It says, here's the development that complicates the viral narrative. That headline, $200,000 valuation, the number that powered the outrage, may be significantly inflated. Bricks and Minifigs now says the collection was worth far less than the reported figure. And notably, that lines up with an independent investigation by fellow YouTuber CoffeeZilla, who looked into the case separately. CoffeeZilla estimates that the collection's actual worth was around $107,000 and suggested only $10,000 to $20,000 worth of Lego might still be genuinely unaccounted for. The original $200,000 figure reportedly traces back to an early walkthrough estimate made before the sets had been fully examined. But as this is the part that keeps it from, first of all, if this was like, anyways, I was just going to say, if this was in question, why didn't the Bricks and Minifigs people start with that? But I don't know. Instead
of just denying the existence of any of the Legos?
Yeah, that's kind of like extra suspect.
No, this just feels like damage control at this point.
But
You
and
think
this
it's like a
is-
PR move, Angelo?
Well, it has to be. They have to
Okay.
have some answer for why they're horrible people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It says, but, and this is the part that keeps it from being a clean win for the company. CoffeeZilla also concluded that the Manziel family, the original old man that had the Legos, may still be owed somewhere between $50,000 and $83,000 for parts of the collection that were sold. So, like, when the franchisee people were selling it for them, but they were supposed to, give them their cut. So that doesn't even mean, it was only $50,000 worth of Legos that were sold. It was like more than that, but that's their cut. It says, so even by the skeptical accounting, real money is reportedly still owed to an elderly collector and his family. Where it stands, nobody comes out of this looking simple. Wait, what? Nobody comes out of this looking simple. And I don't know what that means. And the facts genuinely remain on dispute in multiple fronts. Sorry, this is just MSN. It wasn't.
It's a weird sentence.
Nobody comes out of this looking simple, and the facts genuinely remain in dispute on multiple fronts. Maybe looking simple is some sort of a colloquial term I've never heard of, but CoffeeZilla publicly called the aggressive legal strategy a horrible idea and reportedly urged the company's leadership to drop the lawsuit against Manziel. The same man, why are we now just being and CoffeeZilla said, it's a little funny to me. It says, he urged whoever CoffeeZilla is, urged the company's leadership to drop the lawsuit against Manziel, the same man who lost access to the collection in the first place. Bricks and Minifigs maintains the consignment was never an authorized corporate agreement. And that would be a problem between you and your franchisee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's true. Maybe I could be wrong. Somebody could convince me that.
Unless it's in there, unless it's explicitly stated that the franchisee couldn't do the consignment. It's kind of a consignment store.
Yeah.
So unless it was explicitly stated.
Either way, why does that mean you get to keep Legos that came in a way that your franchisee wasn't supposed to sell?
Because then they would say that it's between you and the franchisee because this wasn't permitted to happen to begin with.
But so they're just claiming they don't have them is basically it.
Yeah.
So, it says Bricks and Minifigs maintains the consignment was never an authorized corporate agreement and that it's the target of a coordinated campaign. A preliminary hearing is currently set for June 30th. Does that mean Reckless Ben will be in court? I hope he gets to record it. Maybe not.
I doubt the Utah's going to let him have a camera in there.
That would be awesome if he did.
I would agree. I think
should
it'd be awesome if Utah would allow people to record trials like they do here in New Hampshire.
Somebody should go talk to the Supreme Court in Utah before then. Or wait, it's not the Supreme Court. Sorry. That's not what I meant to say. I think you would go to the clerk's office in the Supreme Court and try to get permission to... I mean, that's how it is in New Hampshire. That's how we have our permission.
Yeah.
So I guess things could work differently in Utah, but somebody should figure out the way to request a recording way before this starts and go over the judge's head for sure, like the individual judge in the circuit court or whatever it is.
Yeah, because if a bunch of stuff does come out that makes the American Fork Police Department... I mean, we didn't even get into the fact that the police department was kicking in doors on hearsay and pulling people over
absolutely
for nothing,
illegal.
Targeted police harassment.
Crazy Mormons.
yeah, on the part of the American Fork Police Department. So I don't know if it comes out that a bunch of stuff makes them look worse than they already do. I doubt anybody's gonna let a camera in there.
That would be great if they did. It says what started as a disagreement over Lego sets has become a tangle of lawsuits, an arrest, a vanished then restored fundraiser, 2 separate YouTube investigations, and a corporate PR operation all over a collection whose true value nobody can agree on. Why do I feel like they were AI summarize my thing so I could put a conclusion at the end?
They probably did.
The Lego is, in some real sense, still missing. That's
such an AI
That's
sentence.
AI, yeah.
It's not in some real sentence. In some real
sense,
not sentence. That's not even a real sentence.
Except maybe that's what the problem was with that one sentence where I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. I can't
They're allowing AI to write their news stories for them?
Yeah, brother. Do I have news for you? Everything is AI is being used for everything.
Nobody comes out of this looking simple. No, I truly think that was the AI sentence now that we were like all confused about. We were all looking simple over that sentence. So stupid.
Yeah, see, that makes sense.
Does it? Oh, stupid. Okay.
Yeah, us looking simple over it. We look stupid.
But they would imply that you want to look simple. Like, nobody comes out of this looking simple. I know we all want to look simple. Anyways, if you can have a better conversation than an AI robot that writes for MSN, 603-283-6160. You can call in with whatever's on your mind. That's 603-283-6160. It's Free Talk Live. More Free Talk Live coming up.
When every single dollar matters, think technology. I'm Holland Cook with Inflation Hacks. Ink cartridges for your printer are so expensive that office supply stores lock them up. Those Cartridge World refills work just fine. And even the office superstores will give you store credit for recycling used toner cartridges. About the extended warranty when you make a major purchase, every tech expert I've talked to says it's usually useless, pure profit, and the salesperson might be getting a bonus if you go for it. And why spend for software when you can use free online Microsoft Office, programs like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint? And there are lots of free apps and Google Docs, too. How are you coping? Post your inflation hacks at andyoucanquoteme.com.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper with the Week in Review. This week, the US and Iran signed a memorandum of understanding, bringing an end to their conflict. The 14-point memo sets out terms for ending the war and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. The deal gives both sides 60 days to resolve the future of Iran's nuclear program. But some Republican lawmakers have already attacked the agreement over the billions of dollars that could now flow to Tehran. FSN's Mitch McCann sent this report.
There are many key unanswered questions that remain here. Among them, what is the future of Iran's nuclear program, something that Donald Trump has talked about since the start of this conflict? Iran has reportedly agreed not to have a nuclear weapon, but what about nuclear power, and how will the US trust the Iranians' word moving forward? What is going to happen in terms of Iran backing or no longer backing its regional proxies? And the big question as well is what happens to the Strait of Hormuz after 60 days?
Meanwhile, the first round of planned talks in Switzerland on Friday between the US and Iran was abruptly called off. It came after Israel carried out a wave of deadly strikes on Lebanon on Friday in response to a Hezbollah attack that killed 4 Israeli soldiers. Israel and Hezbollah then recommitted to a ceasefire, but US-Iran negotiations are still in limbo. FSN's Ross Cullen sent this report from Switzerland, where the talks were due to take place on Friday.
The 60-day timeline is open. That is probably the major setback, the fact that they have not been able to use the first 2 days of this 60-day period to be able to start negotiations. But the memorandum that was signed by President Pezeshkian and President Trump, that is still in effect. But there was hopes that there would be the first round of these talks heading towards a final nuclear deal here in Switzerland today, Friday, potentially this weekend. But now we have the statement from the US Vice President's office that right now he is not coming to Switzerland.
US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth this week announced a 6-month Pentagon review of American forces in Europe, while NATO's nuclear planning group issued its first statement in 19 years, both unveiled on Thursday at a defense ministers' meeting in Brussels. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky was also there. FSN's William Denslow was there in Brussels and sent this report.
He met last night with Mark Rutte, the NATO Secretary General. He had a meeting with NATO's defence ministers to discuss continued support. This comes as Mark Rutte estimates that Russia is losing upwards of 35,000 forces each and every month. He says that is signs that Ukraine is in a strong position on the battlefield, but says yet more support is needed.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Got Telegram? You can follow our channel there and discuss show prep with other listeners at telegram.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160 is the phone number to bring up whatever's on your mind. And if you're tired of the oppressive rules and moderation of the big tech social media sites, our Mastodon server at social.freetalklive.com can set you free. Mastodon is free, open source, decentralized, and federated. Multiple apps are available for iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, and Linux. Social.freetalklive.com. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Riley O'Bill.
And Angelo.
But it is always more entertaining when you call. 603-283-6160 is the phone number to get in on the conversation with us. I keep hearing about this story or type of, like, this subject, Riley, but I hadn't actually sat down and, tried to figure out what's going on. I keep hearing on Twitter about there's 50,000 Scotlanders in Boston.
Uh-huh.
Have you been hearing much about it before you saw the article?
I've heard a little bit about it from social media, like you. I've heard that Scotlanders have come to Boston and drank all the beer.
Yeah, supposedly they ordered like 3 times the amount of beer they do for St. Patrick's Day in Boston.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, historically, St. Patrick's Day in Boston is like...
Yeah, like the place for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been fun one of the times I'm up here to go, but it just seems like such a, cluster, of people.
Yeah, it was like a 2002 thing. I don't know if it's
I think it could be
the
fun.
same.
I think
as it was.
I think it could be fun too. I should bring my bagpipes.
I guess you could. Yeah, just walk around downtown Boston playing bagpipes. You'd probably fit in fine.
You'd probably run into some other bagpipe people and join their gang.
I know, that'd be awesome.
You guys could walk around making bagpipe melodies.
Yeah, bagpipe melodies, yep.
I need to actually learn some river dances before next, what's it called? St. Patrick's Day, so I can dance next to Riley's bagpipes. I was trying to quickly learn one before his next he was doing it once an hour on St. Patrick's Day, but ran out of time to figure it out. I mean, there were some super simple ones, but anyways.
But yeah, the Scottish drank all of the beer in Boston. Drank the whole place dry.
Boston, I wouldn't even say it's the number one place I think of for drinking for alcohol. Literally the number one place I think of for drinking, or I meant to say drinking for America, is literally
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. That's what I think. Where do you guys think?
It's Wisconsin. The Midwest, they drink a lot.
Is there any other
Midwest
place?
Is a drinking
There's nothing
place.
else to do.
Is there any other place that comes to mind that people constantly say oh, that's the drinking capital?
No.
Basically just Wisconsin. Okay. I was thinking we might all three have some oh yeah, also this place, but no, it's just Wisconsin. But I just would assume that any European could outdrink any U.S. state.
Well, yeah,
big
they start
city.
drinking at 13 over there.
Exactly. Every European I've met in real life is a big drinker and a casual drinker of a lot of alcohol that doesn't get that drunk. You know what I mean? Being able to drink a lot and not seem like you're super drunk and you're just wow, they're drinking a lot of alcohol and they don't seem that drunk type of thing.
Yeah, well, okay. Not only did the Scottish buy out all of the beer of Boston, they also cleaned up all of their trash.
Oh, nice.
And they left the place looking better than they found it.
People keep saying really positive little stories here and there on Twitter, so it sounds like it was a good group of 50,000
Yeah, it sounds
people.
like the Scots have got their lives together or something, because I don't hear stories of Americans doing that. Do you?
No, not really.
No.
50,000 people.
No, I actually hear know about New York just did the complete opposite 2 weeks ago.
What happened?
They won the NBA championship and just rioted
In New York City?
Yeah, in New York City, the Knicks won. So
I heard about the Knicks and everything, but I didn't know that's New York. Or New York Knicks, actually. That sounds correct now.
Yeah, so
I said it out loud.
they not as bad as Philadelphia, but they're
Was
still
it them against the Spurs?
Yes.
I'm kind of glad that they lost then. What if they were tearing up San Antonio? Well, they can tear up New York City all they want.
Leave San Antonio out of it.
Yeah, leave San Antonio. I don't really think
San
stuff like that
Antonio's
really
won a
happens
couple
there.
times. I think that it's a lot more respectful. It's Texas. I was
gonna say I don't really think stuff like that happens there. One time I saw a video of these drunk chicks fighting outside of bars that I've been to before. It was when I already lived here, but it was a viral video of people, and this woman gets body slammed by a security guard. But that just was it's uncommon. It's not that common there. But yeah. Anyways, it makes sense that New York City people are just like, I want to punch something. Ready to punch something as soon as we win? Why would you fight when you win? I don't get it.
It's an excuse to freak out.
It also happens in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. They're like football team.
Yeah.
They win, and then people get in fights. Doesn't even make any sense.
Well,
it makes
everybody
no
gets
sense to me
drunk.
either. Yeah, everyone gets drunk.
It's a bunch of drunk people who are hyper tribal over
and the other team people are
team.
leaving, so they go to a bar on their way out of town or something. Which
Yeah,
seems like a
or
dumb
just
idea.
like you see somebody in a jersey of the other team and it's like, hey,
That's so
I don't like you.
stupid. Oh my god.
Sports are a tribalistic event that people love to make a big deal over, and I'm not a huge sports fan.
Well, I mean,
Neither's Angelo.
that makes sense for you, Riley. You can't, I don't know, you can't even see what's like going on.
Sure, but still, there are blind people who follow sports religiously.
That's true.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what kind
Well, they,
would be like a
listen to
top
it.
sports
Baseball, I
for
guess,
like
like
blind
on-
people?
Baseball would be one. Hockey would be one.
My dad would listen to sports on the radio. Now that I think of it, he would turn on sports on the radio, and
Yeah.
oh my god, I hated it so much. It was like literally my personal hell.
I kind of enjoy hockey. I will say that. I kind of enjoy hockey.
I don't enjoy any
Hockey's
of this,
just
even
ice
with-
soccer.
Yeah.
Is what?
Ice soccer.
Oh.
Is
my
what
God,
this is
I
kind
hate
of
it
how.
all. I don't like. I think that if I was forced to watch one, I like baseball the most. I was gonna say I like to watch baseball. That's not really a true sentence. Like if I was forced to go to a game, I think baseball would actually be fun, especially if it was something like the Swamp Bats or
Those are fun. I think it's fun.
Have you been to them?
Yeah, I've been to
Oh.
a couple. Yeah, they're fun. It's
Because it's
like a local
kids,
thing.
Yeah,
well, they're
it's a
college
local-
age.
Oh, I thought they were middle school or something.
It's the Swamp Bats.
Oh.
It's a wood bat baseball league.
Guess I'm mixing
for
up
college players to play during the summer.
Still, I think it'd be cooler because it's like local people, and you could be like, "Yes, we want Keene to win."
Yeah.
Instead of like just people
Well, that
on
was
TV.
kind of kind of the whole point. Was supposed to be like a city pride kind of thing. And it just devolved into. It was opening up the gambling aspect. I don't even think any of the pro sports are
Wait,
real.
At Swamp. Oh, that's what you're saying.
Well,
You're saying that was supposed to do that, and that devolved. I thought you're saying the Swamp Bats game devolved.
No. The point of like having local sports team was to have like some city pride kind of like
yeah.
raw go the people here, you know.
That's
but
why, like,
it just
shockingly,
made so much money, and you add the gambling aspect into it. You add liquor sales into it. You know, there's a lot of people that make a lot of money off of this stuff. Without just the players, you know.
I think a lot of people will be shocked by the fact and the idea that government money goes into like the stadiums and sports teams and stuff, because it's like you would think like, how is that connected at all? But I guess it's like that, what you're trying to say, like, oh well, it can bring people into town, and it's our
It brings a
city's
ton of people
thing.
into town. You got to think like in a state like Indiana where there's nothing but corn. Like, what do you do in Indiana? The Colts and the Pacers. You know, people make the drive from all over the state into Indianapolis. They stay in the hotels. They got to eat at the restaurants. They got to use the gas stations.
I think I've heard of Indiana being like a big sports state.
Yeah, they love it. They love. What else is there to do?
Yeah.
Well, what else do you do in cornfields? You know, except hunt and watch your local sports teams. And I think, yeah, sports are starting to go to the wayside. I feel like this is definitely not as big as it was when I was a kid. Because
why do you think that is?
Well, the internet. It's pushing. It's funneling everybody into different corners.
Do you think
like,
that's true, Riley?
interests.
I'm just saying I don't know.
I don't know
an opinion.
either. Like I still feel like sports are a big thing.
Numbers are way down, dude.
Oh, okay.
You look at the people watching the NBA.
Oh, I guess I have
everything's
heard
way
these things,
down.
but I
Everything's
assume there's
way
like
down.
a
That's why they opened
cable
up the
thing.
gambling, because people quit watching for fun.
Okay.
So it's like, how are we going to bring people to watch anymore? Well, we'll just open up the gambling on your phones.
And now we've given the government even more incentive to control the weather. Because like Kashi or Kalshi or whatever, you can go on there and vote on, oh, will it get above 70 degrees today in New York City or whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah, that stuff's terrifying. The futures market is crazy. Did we ever talk about the green dildo thing?
No.
Or the purple
No.
dildo thing
No.
at the WNBA games?
No.
So on Kalshi, somebody bet that there was going to be a dildo thrown on a court during a certain game.
Yes,
and they
continue.
just went and did it themselves.
Yeah. And
So
it
they
just
could make the money.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
exactly. I think
Oh,
that's
wow.
it makes sense and it's smart.
It's like
kinda.
literally fixing the game, though. Right? Like,
Wait, it's not fixing the game, but the bet. Or whatever,
yeah, you've rigged the bet.
Exactly.
The fix is in because you know you're
So
going to go
smart,
throw one out there.
Or pay someone to do it or whatever. Even if you had to pay someone $100,000 to do it, but you're going to make $1 million,
Yeah, take some money to make some money. It always does.
Do they check your bags in a place like that?
Yeah, but if it's plastic and
Oh, yeah. Just like with
it's rubber.
an electronic thing that you go through.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a metal detector. And if there's no metal, they're not going to find it, right? It's just, you just shove it down your pants. Hey, man, quit staring. I know. I know.
That's hilarious. That's true. I guess that's a good way to do it. So this from apnews.com. Scotland fans have descended on Boston for the World Cup and bars are struggling to keep up. I did see one tweet where it was like a Scottish guy like laying in bed looking like so upset, and it said, when you were only in America for 1 week and now you can't sleep in Scotland because there's no AC. I was like, how do they live like that? Like, especially for sleep, I need AC.
Well, a hot day in England's like 85.
That's a hot
will
day.
Fight with you. They will fight with you if you try to say
Not
it's
anymore.
hot there.
Not since they were here.
Maybe those individuals, but most of them on
If
the
they caught
internet.
like 2 Fridays ago, it was like 98
know.
degrees out here.
It was
dying.
pretty hot. It got up to 98. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it was
I
like
could just feel
98
it.
with like a 65-70% humidity. It was an awful day.
So what I know about Scotland, because I've done a lot of Scottish culture stuff and I really love Scottish stuff, as a lot of people know, Scotland doesn't get very hot because it's an island, it's far north, it doesn't get very warm. I think a hot day would be like 80, 85 degrees like Angela was saying. So
Yeah, but they complain more than anyone else. Like, it gets 85 degrees and they're like freaking out, and people are like, wait, I just did the conversion from Celsius. They're complaining about 85 degrees over there.
Well, they don't
they'll
have
be
like
"You don't
ceiling
know.
fans.
You don't know what it's like.
and it's more humid there too.
You can
More
buy...
humid than no.
I don't know
Scotland
about
is not more humid,
but they're
than-
humid places. Like, it's... you know.
Sure, nothing. Not anything compared to like the Carolinas or Florida.
Yeah, exactly. That's the most humid I've ever been in was in Florida, and it's so humid in San Antonio. It feels like you're living in water, but Florida was still worse. It's literally awful. Why do people live there? It's horrible. Humidity is so much worse to me than even the heat itself.
I agree. Humidity's terrible.
disgusting.
And I grew up in a hot place.
Exactly. Where Riley's from is it does get very hot, like no joke hot, but
Yep.
it
Yeah,
doesn't
like
get humid.
like 110.
115.
Yeah, 115.
116.
And it's still so much preferable.
How far are you from like Death Valley?
Oh,
I guess that's like a whole state away. 'cause
Yeah,
you
it's a
gotta
whole
go
state
through-
away.
Is that the Valley, California?
Yeah,
Death
you
Valley's
gotta
in
get through
California.
Nevada.
I'm about 2 hours. I grew up about 2 hours from Vegas.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Southwest Utah.
So very much nothing. Desolate. Hot.
Yep.
What are those things called? Why am I blanking on the tumbleweeds everywhere?
Lots of tumbleweeds.
And then like a sad harmonica in the background.
What where we're at least from?
Yeah.
No, it's not that desolate. But
Not that desolate.
There are
okay.
a lot of tumbleweeds.
What's it called? St. George has a big college there. Well, I don't know how big it is, I guess, now that I
Yeah,
think
it's
of
a
it.
fairly good-sized college.
What do they call it now? It used to be called Dixie, and then
It
they
used
said
to
that
be
was
called
racist.
Dixie, now it's
Yeah.
Utah Tech University or something like that.
Yeah,
So
Dixie
dumb.
State. I remember those guys. I had a running back who ended up going there.
Oh, it's supposed to be like the party school, according to Utahns. And then I saw a YouTube video where people were describing different things about Mormon culture, and apparently Dixie, or whatever you want to call them, students have this thing called like Makeout Rock, or maybe it's like Sunset Rock or something, but they do a thing where they meet there, and it's just like the most 80s, like, but wholesome partying, like standing around drinking their sodas or whatever at this rock. But
Yep.
they do this thing, and I can't remember what they call it, where it's like the women run around and kiss as many men as possible in like 5 minutes, and it's just like a peck on the cheeks, and that's like their version of wilding out.
I never
I was
participated
thinking
in that,
like
but
that's
I've
like
heard about
herpes any percent speed run.
Wait, what?
It just sounds like herpes any percent speed run.
Isn't that just...
I'm gonna go make out with 70 people.
Yeah, but it's not even
I
making
guess
out
if
from
you're,
what
yeah,
I've
I
seen.
guess if it's just like kissing on the cheek.
No, it's like pecking on the lips, but still, it's like... And they just look like, whoa, she really just did that. And it's just so funny.
At Dixie State?
I think it is them because it's in St. George, and it's like... I don't want to say Makeout Rock. It's like Sunset Rock or something.
Dixie Rock, maybe?
Yeah, maybe, honestly, I don't know.
Let's go to Dixie Rock and kiss a bunch of boys.
Well,
Indiscriminately.
A lot of people would call it Dixie Rock, but when I grew up, people call it the sugar loaf because it was the color of brown sugar and it looked like a sugar loaf.
That must be it then, if you know exactly which rock. That makes a lot of sense.
Did you spend a lot of time up there in your youth, Riley? No.
On the
I was
rock?
trying to be a good Mormon boy and obey all the rules.
Yeah, those people probably aren't like super good Mormons.
Then what
or,
happened to me? I don't know. I became an anarchist. I smoked weed, took mushrooms.
So I don't.
Reefer Madness took Riley.
Exactly.
And now he lives in New Hampshire.
I don't know how we changed to Utah right now. We were talking about the Scottish and the humidity and all that stuff.
Yeah, and the heat.
This from the APnews.com. They say that ever since Scotland fans learned they'd begin the country's 9th World Cup appearance in Boston, plans were made for a party. I knew there was going to be a tsunami of tartan Army Scotland fans, said Jason Waddleton, a Scotland native and owner of The Haven, a Scottish restaurant and bar in Boston's Jamaica Plain neighborhood. Oh, there's a lot of stuff there. We should go there sometime, Riley.
Let's do it.
I didn't know there's a Scottish restaurant at all.
I want to go.
All right, I'm going to write like The Haven down.
Okay. When do you want to go?
I don't know because we have Fork Fest this week. And I can't think of any or plan on anything. I also am visiting Ian the next weekend.
Okay.
So
maybe the weekend after that.
Yeah, maybe. I think that we should try.
You guys gonna go get some of that haggis?
Yeah, I was thinking. I was like, Scottish restaurant. I'm not gonna get haggis.
I'm gonna get haggis.
You are?
Heck yeah, dude. I'm getting haggis.
Okay, I understand. Okay, Scott, we're on Scotland. And I guess you know a lot, Riley. I know about haggis. What else is like a very Scottish dish that isn't also British, or is it pretty much like the same kinds of
they're
like
very
dangers
similar.
and mash?
Do they have beans on toast? Yeah.
They do what's called turnips and tatties, or turnips and potatoes, which is actually pretty good. Shortbread Scottish. I'm trying to think of something else that's uniquely Scottish, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, the thing that comes to mind is just like the haggis.
Yeah.
Or like a shepherd's pie, but that's pretty like just UK.
Yeah, that's pretty British.
Encompassing.
Oh, fish and chips they have there. I don't know if that's necessarily a Scottish thing in reality, but I went to the Haven's menu, and it says they have skish and
chips.
What skish? Why did I say that? Fish and chips. A burger with like their kind of like cheese and stuff on it. It's made with like beef chuck and Huntsman cheese. I don't really know what that is. Man, I'm seeing a lot of stuff that like could also be American because of course they gotta like, provide American food too.
Yep.
Sausage wrapped hard boiled egg. That doesn't sound American.
Scotch eggs. Yeah.
Scotch
That's what that's called?
Yeah, it's called the Scotch egg. They're pretty good.
They are
they're
excellent.
breaded and deep fried.
Yeah,
yes, they're so good. I'd love to make some, but I don't have the talent to do it.
That seems crazy.
I used to get them at an Irish bar in Missoula.
Wow.
Nice.
The Thomas
And they were called
Marr
Scotch
bar.
eggs?
Yeah, they're Scotch eggs.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking, I bet they like mix in some Scottish or Irish stuff too, like corned beef hash, maybe sometimes.
Well, I think that's probably just like I would say that's like a UK thing.
Some
it's
of this
not
stuff-
necessarily like strictly Irish.
Oh, okay.
We just
There's a
associate
beet
it with
salad
the
here.
Irish.
Maybe that's what you're talking about, Riley, but they just call it beet salad.
Okay.
There's something called like there's things I'm like I don't know what I'm looking at here, like Hattie croquettes. Yeah, I just was like,
I think that's a fish dish.
oh, like haddock maybe.
Yeah.
But
Well,
they
I
call
thought
it
isn't
Hattie
a croquette
croquettes.
like a small like almost like a hush puppy shaped thing?
Maybe
Is it
it's
like
a haddock in a hush puppy.
Maybe.
That actually sounds pretty good. Or cheese birdies. Yeah, we can go get our cheese birdies, fish sandwich, and yeah. Cullen skink.
No, that's a soup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a soup, it says. Anyways, I don't want to do this all day on the air.
Okay.
Silly, but it does look like a fun place to go. And I bet they have like a fun bar and stuff like that because people there would probably be really into it. I bet this place is getting so much attention and like we have to give it at least a couple weeks to not be like super full.
They probably.
anyway.
There's been foreigners that are they're just regular dudes that happen to be in America that have gained millions of followers overnight. There's people flying them out to concerts and giving them free stuff and wanting them to try all this American. And it's just some dude, just some guy from like Germany.
It was so
who happens to be here for soccer, who's just become ultra famous by going, wow,
I didn't know
America has
America was
this,
so great.
America has that. And
Yeah.
then all these companies, blood in the water, consumerism, got to get to it right away. So these guys are getting flown out, private jet planes to country music concerts.
Oh my gosh.
Getting, featured at barbecue restaurants. like the whole works, trying to get them the most American experience you can get.
Oh, I heard about this. They said first, Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey agreed to temporarily extend bar and restaurant hours during the World Cup. It was so funny because the only reason I heard about that on Twitter was like somebody posted somebody else's like Instagram story. And it was a picture of like the Boston skyline or something, or like the night sky, and it said, "What this week has taught me is that people aren't so different, and like we should always try to have more fun, like in nightlife." And somebody was like, "The Boston World Cup. I mean, the bar hours being extended for a couple hours, and I have Boston locals acting like like they're at the end of a movie." Yeah, it's so funny. It's so
just
funny.
Massachusetts has got to be a rough place to live.
Yeah, right. This is such a good white pill story. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
In the world, like it's not like a bunch of Scots went to Boston and they were awful people and got in fights with the locals and that. I mean, like I'm not saying like there wasn't like one case or something like that. Maybe that happened, but that's not what the main vibe was, and that's pretty cool.
Well, and it's also, I think it's fun, and a little. It is a white pill and a grounding moment just to have all these Europeans in America being like, dude, this place is, I didn't know this place was this good. I thought it was shootings every day.
Yeah.
You have just horrible lives. And they get here and they're like, wow. The world can be like this.
Yeah.
They walk into our grocery stores and their jaws hit the floor. Like they just don't understand the amount of abundance and choices.
And we
I get
don't
a lot of it's
understand
poison.
that
A lot of
either
it's bad. There's a lot of bad things going on.
Oh, yeah.
But we're still number one. I think at some level, we're still ahead in the race. And
I think that when you get surrounded by all the abundance that you have, you forget how grateful you can be because you have all this abundance around here. And, Bonnie, you and I can order food and have it delivered to us from a restaurant.
You can rent a pour to bring you food.
Oh my God.
At your home. Yeah, it's crazy. It's great. It's great. That's awesome. That guy gets to make a little bit of extra money. Dude, I've survived door dashing. I think it's a great system.
I think it is
For
too.
years.
Yeah, I've totally driven thousands of orders to DoorDash.
It's also given me the ability to quit so many jobs because I'm like, screw you, I'm quitting.
I wish I could do
It's
that.
economic freedom.
I wish I could do that.
It gave people access to a market that they previously didn't. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, sure, you are renting a pour to bring you food, but hey, he gets money out of it, right? So that's, it's a trade-off. I've hired him for a service for, 15 minutes, whatever.
I guess it's only one estimate that was as high as 50,000, but it says, thousands of Scots came, one estimate as high as 50,000, depending on the Boston area, including nearby Providence, Rhode Island, which has become a home base for many of those people over the past few weeks. Then it was the Tartan Army.
Tartan.
Oh, okay, Tartan Army. Thank you. I've wondered before if I know how to say that word. The Tartan Army marching through Boston's streets following the country's opening win over Haiti last week, taking over the city's famed Fenway Park alongside Red Sox Nation after the team dubbed it Scottish Heritage Celebration Night. That's so fun. That really does sound fun. I almost feel like, this just happened over there, and it kind of just happened before I heard about it. But
this is why we need to go to the Scottish Festival here in New Hampshire.
I know. Me and Riley have wanted for 3 years to go to this annual Scottish festival in New Hampshire in up in the mountains, and it's in September. I think maybe it's
that's fun. Is that like the Highland Games and stuff?
Yeah, that's what they call it too. It's like the Highland Games.
Oh yeah, I always thought I'd be pretty good at those. It would be fun.
Oh, I don't want to play any games. I just want to.
Well, it's like log throwing and stone throwing. Like caveman stuff. Yeah. I can probably do that.
Well, I really loved this white pill story, and now me and Riley have a new bar restaurant to go try out some haggis.
Yes.
More free. If you would try haggis, 603-283-6160. Or if you've had it, tell us what it's like. More Free Talk Live coming up. Don't go anywhere. It's Free Talk Live, 603-283-6160.
Some of you have wanted to support Free Talk Live's mission on a monthly basis, but don't want to support Patreon. Now we have an alternative that also helps our premier streaming platform, Odyssey. Visit video.freetalklive.com and click Join at the top of the channel. You can subscribe for $5 per month, and unlike other subscription services, Odyssey adds their processing fee on top, so it'll cost a little over $5 per month, but Free Talk Live will receive the entire amount you pledged. Higher donation tiers are available if you're feeling so inspired. You'll get a special membership badge that's visible in the Odyssey chat room, and if we get enough supporters, we may enable members-only chat. This new subscription method is a great way to decentralize our direct listener support away from just Patreon and also support a libertarian-run business, Odyssey. Please visit video.freetalklive.com and click Join to subscribe to our Odyssey channel and help support spreading our message around the planet. Visit video.freetalklive.com and click Join today. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper with the Week in Review. This week, the US and Iran signed a memorandum of understanding, bringing an end to their conflict. The 14-point memo sets out terms for ending the war and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. The deal gives both sides 60 days to resolve the future of Iran's nuclear program, but some Republican lawmakers have already attacked the agreement over the billions of dollars that could now flow to Tehran. FSN's Mitch McCann sent this report.
There are many key unanswered questions that remain here. Among them, what is the future of Iran's nuclear program, something that Donald Trump has talked about since the start of this conflict. Iran has reportedly agreed not to have a nuclear weapon, but what about nuclear power, and how will the US trust the Iranians' word moving forward? What is going to happen in terms of Iran backing or no longer backing its regional proxies? And the big question as well is what happens to the Strait of Hormuz after 60 days?
Meanwhile, the first round of planned talks in Switzerland on Friday between the US and Iran was abruptly called off. It came after Israel carried out a wave of deadly strikes on Lebanon on Friday in response to a Hezbollah attack that killed 4 Israeli soldiers. Israel and Hezbollah then recommitted to a ceasefire, but US-Iran negotiations are still in limbo. FSN's Ross Cullen sent this report from Switzerland, where the talks were due to take place on Friday.
The 60-day timeline is open. That is probably the major setback, the fact that they have not been able to use the first 2 days of this 60-day period to be able to start negotiations. But the memorandum that was signed by President Pezeshkian and President Trump, that is still in effect, but there was hopes that there would be the first round of these talks heading towards a final nuclear deal here in Switzerland today, Friday, potentially this weekend. But now we have the statement from the US Vice President's office that right now he is not coming to Switzerland.
US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth this week announced a 6-month Pentagon review of American forces in Europe, while NATO's nuclear planning group issued its first statement in 19 years, both unveiled on Thursday at a defense ministers' meeting in Brussels. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky was also there. FSN's William Denslow was there in Brussels and sent this report.
He met last night with Mark Rutte, the NATO Secretary General. He had a meeting with NATO's defence ministers to discuss continued support. This comes as Mark Rutte estimates that Russia is losing upwards of 35,000 forces each and every month. He says that is signs that Ukraine is in a strong position on the battlefield, but says yet more support is needed.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN. This week, US President Donald Trump's newly appointed chair of the US Federal Reserve chaired his first policy meeting. Under Kevin Walsh, the Fed decided to leave interest rates unchanged. FSN's Kate Fisher in Washington was watching Walsh's first press conference as Fed chair.
Under its new chair, the US Central Bank voted to keep interest rates steady for a fourth straight meeting as Americans struggle with an inflation surge that has pushed prices to their highest level in years. The first policy vote since June last year that did not feature some form of opposition. But the apparent unanimity among officials belies the challenging position that Mr. Warsh finds himself in, having been handpicked for the job by President Trump, who's waged a relentless pressure campaign on the US Central Bank to lower borrowing costs. Delivering that's become all but impossible because of the war with Iran and the inflation that it's unleashed.
British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer could be facing a leadership challenge. It comes after Andy Burnham won a by-election in Greater Manchester. It means he's now a Member of Parliament and can challenge the Prime Minister, as FSN's John Beaver explains.
Of course, those who are the political opponents of the Labour Party, they say, well, if you're going to have this change in Prime Minister, then really it should go back to the people, that you should have this general election. But that's not how the system works. Of course, remember, with the previous Conservative Party, we saw a huge number of changes of the top job from Boris Johnson onwards, and all of that happened without a general election.
Senior security officials from across the BRICS bloc are convening in Delhi this coming week for a high-stakes meeting that could shape the agenda for a leaders' summit in September. The grouping includes China, Russia and Iran. And that's the Week in Review. That's Feature Story News. Nick Harper reporting.
The Dick Cheney Vice Presidential Library opens in a pitch-dark, sulfurous underground cave, and a seedless watermelon is coming to grips with the fact it'll never be able to have kids. This is The Onion Week in Review. Following a litany of tragedies occurring over the past year, a report this week from scientists at Princeton University confirmed that 90% of the Earth's atmosphere is now made up of thoughts and prayers. Researchers confirmed that with the rise of tragic events occurring all across the world each and every day, the Earth's atmosphere is 7% nitrogen, 3% oxygen, and 90% emotional pleas begging for everything to be okay. In other news, a new study finds nothing that will actually convince you to change your lifestyle, so just forget it. UMass Dartmouth is beginning to regret offering a course in applied domestic terrorism, and a sparrow thinks it might have caught the bird flu after puking seeds all morning. Stay tuned after the video for a brief tear in the fabric of space-time, offering a glimpse at next week's Onion Review. And keep checking theonion.com for more.
This is the Onion News Network.
Our Matrix server is about as free as internet chat can be. Join the existing rooms or create your own at chat.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control in 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160 is the phone number to call in to bring up whatever is on your mind. That's 603-283-6160. Free Talk Live is brought to you by LibertyMinded.com. Official Free Talk Live gear like t-shirts and hoodies are available at LibertyMinded.com. Plus, you'll find a unique collection of cool and funny liberty-oriented clothing at LibertyMinded.com. That's LibertyMinded.com. With you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
LibertyMinded.com, O'Reilly O'Bill.
And Angelo.
So you guys were saying you want to talk about this story I hadn't heard about yet.
Yeah, this is probably like the biggest libertarian news of the weekend, I would think.
I would think so too. Like the Supreme Court doing something right for a change.
Well, and something pretty big.
Oh yeah, this is big.
You know, this has been an issue for people for a long time.
What do you mean? What part of it?
Well, like just to think about somebody, you know who FPS Russia is?
No.
He was this huge. He's like one of the original gun tubers, right? He was like one of the first people who posted firearms videos online, and he'd have like crazy stuff, like fully automatic shotguns. You know, just stuff that you wouldn't really see, you know, as like a layman. Anyways, the ATF ended up raiding his house and they found like a bag of weed in some closet in the back.
Wow.
And they ruined his whole life, sent him to prison, took away all his guns.
All for a plant.
Oh, I don't remember. Let me look.
It's just strange that,
But it was a big deal. He was like a very famous YouTuber.
We got to freak out.
He was
over
one of
plant.
the originals, right? And he just had his entire career wiped because they found, less than, not even a half ounce of marijuana in his house during a raid.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been, and it's something I think is ridiculous. Banning people who smoke weed from owning guns. That's, I always thought that was silly.
I agree. But banning people for smoking a plant is just absolutely ridiculous. We don't ban people for smoking tobacco.
Or drinking alcohol.
Yeah. You can drink beer and go shoot guns. But smoking weed? No, we can't have that.
That was in Georgia, was the YouTuber. And that was in 2013.
Okay. What was the YouTuber's name? Did it say?
FPS Russia.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry.
It's he did like a fake Russian accent in all of his videos. He's from Georgia. He is an American.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody be like, you see that Russian dude with the machine guns? He's awesome. It's some guy in Georgia.
Do you think this will help him get out?
No, he's been out of jail.
Oh, okay.
But that ruined his life.
Yeah.
He made all of his money on these videos, and it completely destroyed him.
So this thing we're talking about is good news in that realm, at least. From NBCNews.com, Supreme Court rules government can't restrict gun rights for casual drug use. The justices cast a blow against a federal law that bars users of illegal drugs from possessing firearms. President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, was convicted under the same law. But he already got a pass or whatever.
Oh, yeah, he got a pardon.
Pardon, yeah. It says, the law at issue makes it a crime for any person who is an unlawful user or addicted to any controlled substance to possess a firearm. What, just being addicted? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What? Just being addicted? Like, what? You have to go admit it or something?
It's on the form that you fill out when you on the background form. The background
you just have
check
to admit
form.
it on that? Like, well,
yeah,
what if
it literally says.
What if you don't admit on that, but then they find out like a
That's a
hospital
charge.
has? Whoa, that's crazy! I never knew just being addicted.
You lied on the federal form.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we have. I'm not saying it makes moral sense, but I'm like, oh yeah, I see how that would get you in trouble. We have a caller on the line, so let's go to the phones. We have Sarah in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Oh, yes. So I finally got to see the new improvement on the I-25. So I see what they were going to do to help the pedestrians. They built the whole bridge. Actually, they're going to put a concrete barrier where the pedestrians walk. So before that,
So like in between the road and the pedestrians.
Yeah,
walking.
but this is on I-25, so like an interstate. They're building a bridge over an interstate or across an interstate.
Well, they had a loop that wrapped you around to get back on the. They closed that off, and they're gonna put a Texas U-turn, and also they put a block on the sidewalk at the same time, and they redid the whole boulevard. So this is like Montano going over I-25.
I see.
So,
wait, I'm confused. If it's going over, how come there's a blockade? What do you mean?
Okay, there's a street that goes over I-25.
Oh, okay. So on that street that like goes over, there's now going to be places for people to walk with a blockade.
Right, there was a sidewalk there before, but it was no bicycle lane. It just right up against the street. That's how they did the bridge over it. And then the bridge was called Montano, which means mountain, and it was pretty hilly. So I think what happened with the freeway, they dug through the hills, which is the mountains, to have the freeways go straight. I guess that you just can't go or have the freeway go over the mountains, or it would not go fast, right? So they cut through the mountain so that there had to be a road that went over the freeway. So that was a Montano. So that bridge part got a safer sidewalk, wider sidewalk and safer sidewalk. That's what they put in, and so it's a lot better than nothing. So I'm gonna wait and see if they're gonna put another sidewalk on the other side, or we're just gonna get that on the one side. But whatever, it's a lot better.
Well, I'm glad, Sarah. I'm glad that you're happy that's better. I don't know.
This is unrelated.
Thanks for the
kind
call,
of
Sarah.
related. I was thinking about those freeway bridges. I hate
just for pedestrians? Or?
Yeah. Have you ever been through one of the caged ones?
I've never been through any of them. They creep me out.
Well, the ones that have like the cage wrapped around it, as you go, it's like
I've seen them, yeah.
like fenced in.
Mhm.
Those are horrifying to me.
Yeah, they look
It feels
horrifying.
like you get stuck with a homeless tweaker going crazy on a fenced in bridge. You know what I mean? Like
man.
in the middle of it. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you? There's nothing you can do. You can't. You're stuck in a. It's like a death match. It's like a steel
What if you
cage
just
death
get
match.
past the tweaker?
Well, that's what I mean. If it's like a narrow bridge and it's like chained in and he's freaking out, like you got to go. You're like in a confined space with a psycho.
The other day, I feel like I'm going to dox him and I don't care. The other day, I was in Portsmouth walking around with my friends after I went to a party in the Portsmouth area, and there was this guy that all of a sudden there's a bridge involved in the story, technically, but it was like a real bridge. There's a bridge that takes you from Portsmouth to Maine, apparently.
Yeah.
And
To Kittery.
I'm like looking over, and all of a sudden there's someone behind us that's making noises on the ground. And my first thought was literally, that's a freaking wolf. I don't know why. He looked like a wolf. He's laying on the ground, like shaking. And then I'm like, oh, it's a person laying on the ground doing that, making crazy noise. I'm like walking away really fast. And he like stood up and said, my name is John Mike. I'm the baddest MFer you've ever seen. And then he starts running away, like screaming and saying,
Imagine being
I'm John
stuck
Mike.
in a
exactly.
fenced-in bridge over an interstate with that guy.
I'll never forget that name. What kind of name is John Mike anyway? Because it's like, why is your middle name
John Michael.
Yeah, exactly. Why is it John Mike? Like, it's weird to go make your middle name
My name's John Mike, and I'm the baddest
yeah,
you've ever
exactly.
seen.
He was like yelling at us, and I was just like, it's like so funny in hindsight because it was like a harmless thing probably, but I was like, gotta get away from
Well,
him.
what makes those kinds of people dangerous is they're unpredictable.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the unpredictability of those people that make them dangerous. Because 90% of the time they're going to be fine. 99% of the time, it really is just some crazy guy. But you don't know. You don't know if you're going to run into the one guy that, thinks you look too much like the dad that he hates and he takes it out on you,
This is what happens when you incentivize people with free money. They end up being homeless and
listless.
Yeah.
Yep. It really sucks because it's like if somebody like that is like schizophrenic instead of just drunk. I think he was just drunk because the way he was like moving and falling on the ground.
Well, it's hand in hand. A lot of those people are self-medicating anyways, using alcohol and like methamphetamine and
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, if like somebody just had problems in a world where we didn't just give money to people, we would have more money to have things like, facilities for people who are actually like sick.
It's hard because how do you commit those people?
Yeah, that's true.
Like
but
because you are kind
if
of
they're
infringing on their
crimes,
rights.
then it doesn't.
Yeah,
really
but
matter.
if they're just nuts and a danger to themselves,
you can't force anyone.
Yeah, you
but
can't
you
force
also
them.
aren't forced to then fund their lives. So like if they just like aren't, they won't go in, but they're also like literally so crazy that they don't have a job or anything. It's like they would. I'm not saying like, oh, it's good for them to just die. I'm saying that they might be pushed into a situation where it's like death or go into the place, and they might, be convinced. More likely than, okay, how about we just give you money and you live on the bridge, John Mike?
Or under it, you little troll.
That's where trolls belong, right under the bridge.
So
Go down there,
scary
you
in that
troll. Get down there, John Mike. That was his riddle, and you failed, Bonnie.
Oh my god, yeah, I didn't cross, so that's fine. Oh my god, that's funny to think. Yeah, maybe there is something to it, because I was like, I'm not going to forget the name, because what kind of person like nicknames their middle name? Like, if you're...
And so it would have been funny if he said Jonathan Mike. I'm Jonathan Mike.
That's true. Because I'm like, is Mike a last name? I really doubt it, But anyways, it's so sad if we're just like doxing this guy and everyone's like, wait, I know John Mike. And they're like,
He's
giving
the
away his
best guy
dirty
on the
secret.
planet.
Yeah,
He's actually awesome. We get a bunch of calls defending his honor.
That'd be funny.
So, NBCnews.com. The Supreme Court rules government can't restrict gun rights for casual drug use. The justices cast a blow against a federal law that bars users of illegal drugs from possessing firearms. President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, was convicted under the same law. The Supreme Court on Thursday barred the government from restricting gun rights of casual drug users in a case involving a Texas man who occasionally consumed marijuana. Wow. It's like a lot of Texas men, guns and occasionally using marijuana. That's so messed up to imagine, you just can't have
That's like just every redneck community in the world.
Yeah. On a 9-0 vote. That's actually really surprising from the Supreme Court, but
some of the reasoning is just out there. You don't even want to touch it. What is that? Something Jackson?
Ketanji.
Yeah, right? I'm not even going to try to mess with that.
I think I got it, honestly.
Yeah, well, hers is just ludicrous, out there, nonsensical. Broken clock is right twice a day kind of thing.
Yeah. We need marijuana everywhere, constantly, kind of thing. Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, I understand how it's 9-0 now. It's like there is the leftist being like, people should have marijuana. I'm not saying anybody's wrong for that. I'm just saying I'm realizing, that's why a leftist would be okay with it. I'm just really shocked that even you would sacrifice your hate for guns on the altar of marijuana.
What is this guy's name? Ali Marani?
Ali Denali Hemani.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a regular Joe Schmo down the street.
No,
so I can see the leftist
like
siding with the, because a big thing about disarmament is targeting minority groups, right? That's why they passed the 1986 machine gun ban, was because they didn't like the fact that African Americans were getting a hold of machine guns and patrolling their own streets.
He looks like he's from India or Pakistan, and he looks extremely Texan at the same time. Just the way he's carrying himself, his haircut, and his outfit. He looks super Americanized. But I'm just saying, yeah.
I have some friends like that in college too. They were dope.
Yeah.
Drove a better truck than I did.
So let's get into his story and why the Supreme Court sided with him. It says, on a 9-0 vote, the court concluded that the government's invocation of the law fell afoul of the Constitution's Second Amendment when it was used against Ali Denali Hemani. I'm going to call him Ali for the story. The law makes it a crime for any person who is an unlawful user of or addicted to any controlled substance to possess a firearm. It is the same statute that Hunter Biden, the son of former President Joe Biden, was convicted under in June 2024 before his father pardoned him. Those prosecuted under the law can face up to 15 years in prison and a permanent ban on owning firearms. Federal prosecutors brought the charges against Hemani, after the FBI found a handgun during a search of his home in 2022. The ruling, authored by Justice Neil Gorsuch, does not invalidate the law across the board, but it makes it harder for prosecutors to invoke it, especially as it relates to casual drug users.
Yeah, so I guess most of the law is in regards to, if you've been convicted of a felony, you've lost your gun rights. If you've been convicted of a domestic abuse case, I think they can restrict your ability to purchase a firearm. But it's just that one section that pertains to the drug use is the one that's under question. The rest of it, the Supreme Court has said, is still intact. Felons can't own guns. Domestic violence offenders can't own guns. And I think there's something to do with a dishonorable discharge too can prevent you from owning a firearm from the military. So all of that is still intact. The only thing the Supreme Court's disagreeing with is the thing about casual marijuana users. That's the only part of the law that they're messing with.
Yeah, so it's the ruling authored by Justice Neil Gorsuch, which I think is the ruling for when he got in trouble in 2022. Does not invalidate the law across the board, but it makes it harder for prosecutors to invoke it. Wait, no, who is Justice Neil Gorsuch? Is he part of the Supreme Court? Oh, okay, so all right. The ruling, so it kind of switched subjects for a second in a way that confused me. The ruling, this Supreme Court ruling we're talking about, it doesn't invalidate the law across the board, but it makes it harder for prosecutors to invoke it, especially as it relates to casual drug users. Gorsuch wrote that the ruling is a narrow one, which does not address broader issues raised about banning drug addicts from possessing firearms. the court rejected the federal government's claim that anyone who uses marijuana is a danger to others. It's getting all confusing, too, because I'm like, the Supreme Court is the federal government, but the federal government is the prosecutor, so it's this legal land BS, you know. The court rejected the federal government's claim that anyone who uses marijuana is a danger to others, all based on the government's own assessment, he said. We appreciate drugs and guns can sometimes make for a dangerous mix, Gorsuch wrote, but the government's reliance on historical laws that disarmed habitual drunkards misses the mark, he said. An added wrinkle in the case is that millions of Americans regularly use marijuana, which is legally available in many states, even as it remains criminalized under federal law. Right, Riley?
Yes. It's a terrible idea.
It says the Supreme Court's 6-3 conservative majority often backs gun rights. In a major 2022 case that expanded the right to bear arms outside the home, the court set a new test for analyzing long-standing gun restrictions, setting off a wave of new litigation in lower courts. The court has sent a strong message that the government cannot criminalize the conduct of large numbers of people by making categorical and unfounded assumptions about whether they are dangerous. Is she talking about the new one now? Because it's like they just described an old ruling.
So what Gorsuch is trying to say.
This one was Cecilia Wing right there.
Oh, okay. Well, I think she might have added to the decision.
She's from the ACLU.
Oh, okay. So
and she represents Hemani, so maybe.
Yeah, so the ACLU and the NRA joined forces in this one to take on the federal government, which is kind of weird. You know, like enemy of my enemy is my friend. Mm-hmm. But they've both taken this on, and they've done a lot of work for Ali. So what did she say?
The court has sent a strong message that the government cannot criminalize the conduct of large numbers of people by making categorical and unfounded assumptions about whether or not they are dangerous.
Oh, okay, right. So
for being like an occasional weed smoker.
Essentially, what the Supreme Court has said is that even though there were laws that allowed the disarmament of habitual drunkards, mm-hmm. there was a court process that eventually stripped them of their rights. This being a preemptive rule, mm-hmm. they haven't demonstrated that any of these people are actually a danger to themselves or others. Mm-hmm. It's like a preemptive blanket statement.
Yeah.
And they're saying that doesn't work. Now, if you want to make a law to where you can take somebody to court saying they're too dangerous when they're stoned, and that's why they should lose their rights, well, then that would be like, proper channels. But this whole preemptively incriminating people before anything bad has actually happened is moot. It's not going anywhere.
Unfortunately, not for everyone, since it was like this narrow decision. Like, it's not covering just people who happen to be addicted to a substance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what is tobacco's a controlled substance.
That's true.
So is alcohol.
Maybe it has to be a certain level.
It doesn't say anything about scheduling.
It says, in future cases, prosecutors would need to show more than just drug use alone and instead provide evidence that the defendant is a danger to the public as a result of consuming such illegal substances, said William Sack, a lawyer at the Second Amendment Foundation, a gun rights group. The Justice Department did not respond to requests for comment. While gun rights advocates welcomed the ruling, those who support broad firearms restrictions stressed its narrow nature. Lee Rome, a lawyer at the Giffords Law Center, said, today's opinion continues to allow the government to enact and enforce reasonable categorical prohibitions on firearms ownership. He's like looking at the bright side.
Yeah, he was like, well, they can still ban guns. I don't know what this is. Yeah, it's just silly guy. They just had to add somebody at the end of the article to try to make it seem even.
So, Hemani successfully challenged his indictment in both the Texas-based District Court and the New Orleans-based 5th U.S. District Court of Appeals. Prosecutors had suggested that Hemani, a dual citizen of the U.S. and Pakistan, I'm glad I added that caveat in. I was going to say Indian. I said Indian or Pakistani. I'm always, so incredibly inclusive. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah, so inclusive.
It says prosecutors have suggested that Hemani, a dual citizen of the U.S. and Pakistan, had ties with Iranian groups hostile to the U.S., but he has faced no specific charges of that front. That's some scary stuff. If you just happen to be brown from South
Allegedly.
Asia, and then they're like, actually, you know what? I think that he's part of ISIS.
That's what they're doing with like the FISA warrants.
What does that mean? FISA?
FISA is like where they can, if they think you're interacting with international people, they can illegally like tap your phone and stuff without telling you.
Basically a court that they can just illegally wiretap you.
More Free Talk Live coming up. More about this and more on Free Talk Live and whatever you want to talk about. 603-283-6160 is the phone number to bring up whatever is on your mind. 603-283-6160. This definitely seems like a good thing. Could it be better? You tell us. More on Free Talk Live. 603-283-6160.
This hour of Free Talk Live is brought to you by Dash Digital Cash. Dash is the cryptocurrency designed to be used for spending. Rising fees have made Bitcoin useless for purchases, but Dash continues to have fees less than 1 cent per transaction, and its features ensure Dash is undefeated as the most useful cryptocurrency in the marketplace. From a technical standpoint, Dash transactions are irreversible, and its network is protected from 51% attacks by their Chainlocks technology. There's no need to wait for a confirmation before considering a Dash transaction complete, so it's great for merchants. Dash is one of the oldest cryptocurrencies and is widely available on exchanges, including the decentralized Maya protocol, and in multi-crypto wallets. It's easy to get and use Dash. Start by learning more at Dash.org. Big thanks to the Dash DAO for sending us 32 Dash per month to promote Dash on the air. Visit Dash.org to learn about Dash. Dash.org.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper with the Week in Review. This week, the US and Iran signed a memorandum of understanding, bringing an end to their conflict. The 14-point memo sets out terms for ending the war and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. The deal gives both sides 60 days to resolve the future of Iran's nuclear program. But some Republican lawmakers have already attacked the agreement over the billions of dollars that could now flow to Tehran. FSN's Mitch McCann sent this report.
There are many key unanswered questions that remain here. Among them, what is the future of Iran's nuclear program? Something that Donald Trump has talked about since the start of this conflict. Iran has reportedly agreed not to have a nuclear weapon, but what about nuclear power, and how will the US trust the Iranians' word moving forward? What is going to happen in terms of Iran backing, or no longer backing, its regional proxies? And the big question as well is what happens to the Strait of Hormuz after 60 days?
Meanwhile, the first round of planned talks in Switzerland on Friday between the US and Iran was abruptly called off. It came after Israel carried out a wave of deadly strikes on Lebanon on Friday in response to a Hezbollah attack that killed 4 Israeli soldiers. Israel and Hezbollah then recommitted to a ceasefire, but US-Iran negotiations are still in limbo. FSN's Ross Cullen sent this report from Switzerland, where the talks were due to take place on Friday.
The 60-day timeline is open. That is probably the major setback, the fact that they have not been able to use the first 2 days of this 60-day period to be able to start negotiations. But the memorandum that was signed by President Pezeshkian and President Trump, that is still in effect. But there was hopes that there would be the first round of these talks heading towards a final nuclear deal here in Switzerland today, Friday, potentially this weekend. But now we have the statement from the US Vice President's office that right now he is not coming to Switzerland.
US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth this week announced a 6-month Pentagon review of American forces in Europe, while NATO's nuclear planning group issued its first statement in 19 years, both unveiled on Thursday at a defense ministers' meeting in Brussels. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky was also there. FSN's William Denslow was there in Brussels and sent this report.
He met last night with Mark Rutte, the NATO Secretary General. He had a meeting with NATO's defence ministers to discuss continued support. This comes as Mark Rutte estimates that Russia is losing upwards of 35,000 forces each and every month. He says that is signs that Ukraine is in a strong position on the battlefield, but says yet more support is needed.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
You can stick it to the man and big tech. Join our FTL social mastodon at social.freetalklive.com.
Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160 is the phone number to get in on the conversation with whatever's on your mind. That means that you can change the subject, talk about whatever you want. You can tell us we're wrong. It's up to you. It's Free Talk Live. And with you on the show tonight, you've got me, Bonnie, Riley, and then also Angelo. And we were talking last segment. I'm not sure how much more there is to say about this, but let's see. About this story from... Sorry, I lost the story here on my phone. Or not my phone, my computer. We're talking about this story from NBC News about how... Oh, sorry, Riley, I had you muted on accident.
It's a reputable news source, NBC.
We were talking about how the Supreme Court sided with this guy from Texas who was charged with having a handgun, like, because of the fact that I don't know how they knew it. Honestly, I missed that part of the story, how they knew that he was an occasional marijuana user. So he had gotten in trouble for that, and he won in all of his appeals and all the way up to the Supreme Court. So it says that prosecutors had suggested that he, a dual citizen of the U.S. and Pakistan, had ties with Iranian groups hostile to the U.S., but he has faced no specific charges on that front. FBI agents found a handgun, marijuana, and cocaine when they searched his home. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, I actually don't know how they knew he was.
So they searched his home over the alleged Iranian ties?
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't say that because he didn't get those charges.
So what was the warrant? What's the
they
original
had suggested,
warrant
which they get to just do whatever they want in court. They just get to be like, and by the way, sometimes it's not even during trial. Sometimes it's pre-trial, and they're like, by the way, we need to talk about when we're going to have the next hearing, and also, it's a little weird looking at some of this stuff. We're thinking that he might have ties to Iran. Like, literally, they can just do
Riley
stuff
has
that
ties
seems...
to Iran. He's a part of the Free State Project. We know those Free Staters are anti-government. We got to go investigate them. They might have ties to Iran.
Yeah, exactly. They just will start saying things even in not, like, in a way that you would think. Like, if you've never been to court, surely there's no way they're allowed to do that. Sounds like unprofessional and out of... No, they just, like, have conversations sometimes, and they imply things about you and stuff like that. During Ian's pretrial stuff, they were trying to call Mark, and Mark was in Mexico, and they were telling the judge, like, he hung up on us after a long pause. Like, he was... trying to hide something, and all that happened was they lost connection because he was in Mexico.
That's
not
funny.
expecting a call from him. So just things like that. So the Trump administration defended the law in court. The Trump administration defended the law in court? What does that even, like, what part of it? I wish they were being more specific about what parts of the government, because they're confusing me. To the annoyance of gun rights advocates. What part of the Trump administration? See what I mean? Like, is the DOJ part of the Trump administration? You know what I mean?
I think that's what they're
Is that what they're
implying.
trying to say? Some are frustrated that the administration, which touts its support for the Second Amendment, has not always backed up that rhetoric in court, or even like in rhetoric, like Trump is saying, like, oh, I think we should have some common sense. I don't know if he used that word, but
he
yeah.
banned bump stocks in 2019.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, he doesn't say the words common sense. Gun control.
He supported, I think, red flag laws.
Yeah.
Was a big issue.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
That too.
So it's not just in court. The Trump administration defended the law in court. Oh, yeah. We already said that. Some are frustrated that they don't always back up their pro-Second Amendment stuff in court. In another gun case before the court, the justices are considering the lawfulness of a Hawaii law that prevents people from carrying firearms onto certain private properties without permission. Oh, we talked about this before. Yeah, we talked about this before, but we didn't get... there's apparently going to be an update soon because they're just considering it. Well, since it says the justices are considering, does that mean it's already, like, in front of them and it's a next step? Or does that mean it's just like, oh, it's still in the list, we're going to consider it? I wonder about that.
I think it's still on the list.
It'd be cool if we had some info about that soon. But
yeah, that's still a tough one between Second Amendment and property rights. Like for like a grocery store. I mean, most like a bar won't let you be armed. So that's a private business that takes away your guns.
I can't remember everything about the Hawaiian one, about what did and didn't fall under it. Like what was the
No, I don't
issue?
remember the specifics either.
I remember it being like, oh, that's going to be interesting when we hear more about it, but honestly, I don't know. I know that the strait is apparently closed, but I don't know if that means it's going to open again.
It's the open and closed strait. It opens 1 minute and closes the next. Who knows what's going to happen?
That is...
It's only open if you look at it.
Oh, is that it?
Or it's only closed if you look at it.
Oh.
What does that mean?
Like, only when it's observed is it in action.
What is that? Oh, I see what you mean. Like the waves and the
Yeah. It
particles
only
and the
happens
waves.
if you're looking at it. If you're not looking at it, it doesn't happen.
When it's observed.
Out of sight, out of mind. So since I can't see the strait, it's never open?
Well, for you.
For you, Riley. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, man, that sucks. Sucks being blind.
I really don't know what else to say about, know much about the strait or what's going on with it, because it's just, I don't even know what to say. It's just that it's not in my wheelhouse, and so much was back and forth for so long.
Yeah, I don't even know what to believe anymore.
Well, okay,
because
so
Trump was touting a peace deal, and all of a sudden it's broken again?
Well, by our allies in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Our greatest
Retarded
ally.
Israel. Israel's a retard. I'm just going to say it on air.
Israel's a
retard. That's a really eloquent way to put it, Riley.
Oh my gosh.
Israel is a retard.
Well, kind of on topic, I found this was interesting. Gaza's Board of Peace holds $0 despite billions pledged. Who's holding their money?
I don't know.
It's probably sanctions to the ceiling and back, and it's just
that's a good thought.
In some
Or a
bank
good
accounts. Then the U.S. government and Israeli government are like, hey, if that money moves an inch,
It could be that, or it could be that these people are the actual corrupt ones, like funneling the money somewhere else. I don't know.
well, that's because there's no good guy.
They're all terrible.
There's no good guy, because you know what this is? It's governments fighting with each other.
Wait, I was told America's always the good guy.
No, it's not.
That was fast, Riley.
No, not the good guy.
But there is no good guy, because this
He
is
hated to hear
we're
that.
talking about governments fighting with each other. Even Hezbollah or Hamas, whatever it is the government. Maybe it's not the elected government of Gaza anymore. It was at one point, wasn't it?
I don't know.
All
Hamas
right.
was?
Anyways,
Yeah,
it's
I
still
think you're
these are
right.
governments, right? These are governments fighting with each other. These aren't people. People are getting hurt, but these are governments that are fighting. So there is no good guy, because there is no good government. That doesn't exist. So we keep looking for like the good guy in these fights.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't one. Why are we? There isn't one. You know, the good guy is the one who quits fighting, who puts down the gun and goes home. Right, and then
The good guys are going to go home, build their farms, build their families, take care of their loved ones.
And they get bombed by Israel.
Exactly.
So this is from the Activist Post, or maybe it's just activistpost.com. So this is from Activist Post.
An actual reputable news source.
Yeah, seems like it. They wrote a post about Ian, and they got stuff way more correct than, like some elected state
Any
official in New Hampshire has.
mainstream.
Gaza's Board of Peace holds $0 despite billions pledged. The World Bank administered fund for Trump's Board of Peace in Gaza, contains $0 despite approximately $17 billion in pledges due to stalled disbursement and legal disputes.
Yeah, that's it right there.
What does that mean, Trump's Board of Peace in Gaza?
Yeah, he put like a board of peace together there.
What does this mean? Like, is it part of his peace deal? Or is it...
Not this current Iranian one.
I think it's part of a past deal he tried to put together and put a board over there, a group of people called a board over it.
Okay. Wow. So I didn't know which direction the corruption was coming from. Apparently this time it's maybe
I'm pretty sure like
Trump,
Jared
allegedly.
Kushner's and stuff is like on the board of peace for Gaza. Don't quote me. I
figured
it's-
this was like a donation place for people who were like, I care about Gaza. I want to donate. And then all of a sudden, like, hey, your money didn't actually reach the Gazans. That's what I thought it was. Like, kind of like, there was this thing when I was in high school called Coney
2012. I
12.
remember
I was like,
it.
what year was that? That there was a bunch of people like, oh, this is the worst thing that's ever happened in the entire world. And actually, you're a horrible person if you're not giving money to Coney 2012. And it was some Ugandan? Do you know?
It was either
warlord.
Ugandan or Congolese.
Yeah, a guy in Africa that was a warlord was like making children be slave warriors. People were dying.
Oh, don't quote me, but I have
War.
it was such a grift that he wasn't even in power when that happened.
and it was all a grift. The money was going
he wasn't,
to whoever.
I'm pretty sure he might have been dead.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing all those
missing,
things. I remember there was like all
thing.
these like, it's almost like conspiracy is all I heard, and I was like, wow, that sucks. I didn't give money to it, so.
No, I think it was confirmed that like he was not the guy anymore.
I'm not
like,
saying
that was
that,
a total grift.
Yeah, I'm not saying that was conspiracy, that it was grift. It was like a confirmed grift, but there was all this like, and we think he actually died 30 years ago and stuff like that, and you'd just hear about it sometimes, and you'd be like, what? That's it. That was it from my perspective.
So maybe when people
I feel like
pressure
that had to be a
something, we
psyop.
should be like...
That might have been the first like mega internet like social justice push psyop.
Could have been.
Because I feel like 2012, that's really early.
They were probably testing like what they were going to do in Gaza.
That or just like how what messaging gets the thing to go most viral.
Yeah.
Because like Cody he wasn't even real.
It just showed up out of nowhere too. Like out of nowhere in a couple days, like my high school was like, it was the only thing everybody was talking about.
Yep.
People had like shirts and stuff.
If you donated enough, I remember they sent you like a swag box
Oh my
full
God.
of Coney 2012 stuff.
Oh wow.
That sounds fake, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So funny. The World Bank, oh yeah, we already read that part. The board has reportedly directed some donations into a private JP Morgan Chase account instead of the transparent World Bank administered account, drawing sharp criticism over a lack of independent oversight. No reconstruction
Wait a second. You're telling me the government or something attached to the Trump administration has funneled money into a JP Morgan account when it shouldn't be?
I don't really know, honestly, if that means that it shouldn't be, but it's getting people to be mad at them, like criticize them.
Well, it just,
because it's, like, not as transparent.
It would increase JP Morgan's borrowing abilities if it was in their system.
Yeah, all these banks are bad. Like, I wouldn't necessarily even say the World Bank is like good or something. I don't know much about them specifically, but they're all bad. So, no reconstruction contracts have been awarded because the board cannot operate in Gaza without security, but security is impossible without funding, creating a deadlock tied to Hamas's refusal to disarm. It's a catch-22.
The bureaucracy.
We just got to keep the money.
Yeah, oops, sorry, we just keep the 100, how many? 170 million?
No, 17 billion.
117 billion.
No, just
17
billion.
billion.
Just a paltry 17 billion. Do you know what I could do with that money?
Just a paltry 17
At
billion.
least one trip to the moon.
There you go.
That was funny. You said Bitcoin, you said to the moon. Whoa.
Yep. It's going to the moon. Hodl, 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 gang.
The board's requirement of a $1 billion entry fee has deterred major allies like France and Britain, while the Gulf states like Saudi Arabia remain hesitant due to stalled diplomacy and U.S.-Israeli military posture towards Iran. The U.S. considered seizing part of the $5 billion in Palestinian Authority tax revenue held by Israel to fund a transitional authority, a move critics say punishes the PA for Hamas's actions. This is just like so crazy that it's like, hey, we're coming to save you. We really do care about peace, but first we got to figure out these banking and legal like hurdles.
Loopholes and hurdles. We care about peace so much. Don't you worry. We care about peace so much.
And it's not just on Trump either. It's on both sides.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess Hamas too.
Well, because that's what it all boils down to. All of these politicians all over the world talk about what they can do for you or what they can do for other countries and how they're going to save the poor man and they're going to save the Iranian and how they're going to save the Ukrainian. And they like to talk about all these things they're going to do, but they never really want to talk about how they're going to pay for any of it.
When a politician tells you they're going to take care of you, don't believe them, ladies and gentlemen. They want to enslave you. They want to give you free money they want to give you free money or pretend to give you free money while enslaving you in the process. It's what they do.
Yep. Sounds about right. Sounds like what's going on here. In a stark revelation that underscores the paralysis of international reconstruction efforts, The World Bank administered fund established for President Donald Trump's Board of Peace in Gaza officially contains $0. This finding comes despite approximately $17 billion in pledges from various nations, raising serious questions about the viability of the administration's signature post-conflict initiative. Does that mean the peace deal? The board, personally chaired by Trump, was conceived to oversee rebuilding of the devastated Palestinian enclave, but it remains a financial shell, stalled by legal uncertainty and disputes over transparency. Isn't this money all going to go to making beach houses in Gaza or whatever you were talking about before? Making it a resort?
I imagine so. making a desert a resort, yep.
Where would they go? The people.
I don't know.
Oh, the people that are there right now?
Yeah.
Where are they going to go?
Yeah.
I think they have a spot for them.
Where?
In the concentration camp?
No, 6 feet under.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Oh.
They got a spot for them, and it's 6 feet deep, and they're going to be the foundations for the new golf course. All right.
Wow.
More bodies than the current golf course has. No, I'm just kidding. Epstein
way
joke.
more.
This
Epstein
golf
joke.
course is built on Hamas bodies.
Oh my god, it's creepy.
It is a little creepy.
Haunted golf course.
Yep.
I don't think I would go, even if they made a really safe resort over there. The empty vault, where did the pledges go? Coney 2012. No, I'm just kidding. The core issue is a fundamental disconnect between promises and disbursement. A senior congressional aide confirmed that none of the pledged money has reached the Board of Peace. The Department of State has indicated there is no intention to route those funds through the board's official channels. Instead of using the transparent World Bank administered account, the board has reportedly directed some donations into a private account at JP Morgan Chase. This arrangement bypasses independent oversight and standard aid protocols, leaving donors and the public with limited visibility into how any funds are spent. So they just get to keep spending it even when it's in that?
Yeah, so what are they spending it on if they can't get any money spent?
Doesn't seem right.
If the money's getting spent. It sounds like it might just be stuck in litigation.
Like limbo, yeah.
Yeah.
If it's not being spent, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably just wrapped in so much red tape and legal stuff that it'll probably sit there forever. Or it's getting siphoned off the back end and nobody's paying attention.
Yeah.
While it's stuck in this limbo.
And like the Pentagon gets hit by a plane and the records blow up or something.
In an unrelated building.
Yeah.
Across town.
It says a king's court or a UN-like agency. I don't really know what a king's court means as a statement, just like, oh, he gets to do whatever he wants. Is that what it means? A king's court? Like the state, the saying?
Well, a king's court's like...
He makes up the rules as he goes along?
Yeah, but it's, he has like him and then his advisors are like his court.
Yeah, but what does it mean when the people are like, oh, this is a king's court? It's almost like saying this is a kangaroo court. But
yeah.
I think it's the same thing, I guess, basically. Anyway.
I bet this is written by AI too.
I don't know, honestly.
Oh, no, well, this is the
just
activist post, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but this is also just the headline here. It's a king's court or a UN-like agency. The board's unconventional structure has also drawn sharp criticism. Unlike traditional multilateral bodies, the Board of Peace, personally led by Trump, who retains final authority indefinitely. The charter requires countries to pay a $1 billion fee for a permanent seat. Like other countries? Yeah. Requires countries to pay a $1 billion fee for a permanent seat. A price tag that has deterred major European allies. Maybe they should get more money. Just kidding.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, I don't know. Senator Brian Schatz highlighted the tension between the State Department's portrayal of the board as a standard UN-like agency and Trump's characterization of it as a king's court. So Trump said it himself.
Oh, okay.
Key powers
that makes it okay then, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Trump gets to be the boss of the court.
I guess he doesn't mind that. He's calling it the king's court, and they're out there like, no kings, and he's like, it's my court. I'm the king. I saw today the stupidest no kings sign. I don't know if they were necessarily no kings, but that kind of group. They were holding up signs that said like no kings and stuff, but I'm not saying that was like organized by that organization protest. It's just liberal key in New Hampshire. And one of them had a sign that said honk for resistance. And that is the most ridiculous thing I ever saw, because it's almost like one like is one prayer for this armless boy or whatever.
Yeah, it's virtue signaling.
One honk, one resistance. So
Type amen if you agree.
literally, that's so ridiculous. I could not believe that. It's literally just like LARPing as 1960s people, you know.
Well, that's because they are those 1960s people. Have you seen the age of those folks at these No Kings protests? They're all like 70.
Or they might have been some that were not into it then and they feel like they missed it.
Oh, they got FOMO?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But either way, it's
I
like...
hope they don't FAFO.
It's definitely it's definitely a LARP nowadays, no matter what, because it's like they're not actually like they don't have any demands or anything that are like getting they're getting their demands met and all this stuff. They're just one like equals one resistance or one honk.
Yeah.
Key powers like France and Britain have refused to pay the entry fee, leaving the board's membership thin and its financial base weak. If the board needs more financial base, why don't they just say, okay, never mind, it could be $500,000 or something, you know?
Because Trump wants to make money off of making peace in Israel.
I'm like shocked that a whole country can come up with $1 million for a thing like this.
I thought it was $1 billion.
Oh, is that what it was? My bad. Was it?
Yeah,
Did
I'm
I
pretty
say
sure
that?
it's a $1 billion price tag for entry.
Oh, okay.
It might be earlier.
Oh, yeah, it
Which
says
is
1
still
billion,
like
right,
paltry to a European nation, isn't it? Like a Western European country.
Maybe, my bad. When I was thinking it was 1 million, I was like, seriously, when the amount they act like they
That
care
sounds
about
like
Palestine?
they're just not into it.
Yeah, they're just not into it.
Yeah, man, I don't know. $1 million is like that's too high for me.
Oh my
dude.
God. That's
we
like-
really care about you, Gaza, but I'm sorry.
It's like when Dr. Evil is like, I'm gonna make the hostage family have to pay $1 million, and they're like, isn't that kind of small?
Yeah.
And apparently, there's gonna be a fourth Austin Powers. That would be really cool. I think. I never saw the third. Some people say the third sucked.
Oh, he's getting pretty old, isn't he?
I don't know how old he is. He must be if that was from the 90s. The board has awarded no contracts for actual reconstruction projects as it is not yet operating inside Gaza. So that's that catch-22 we were talking about.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. What are you gonna? They're bombing it.
Yeah.
What do you rebuild? What? They're just gonna bomb it again.
The primary obstacle is Hamas's refusal to disarm. Trump has linked all reconstruction aid to full demilitarization, creating a classic deadlock. I mean, I don't really blame him for that. Like, oh, we're going to go in there and start building buildings and there's Hamas people armed walking around, you know? Like, you're going to send workers in there? Like, who?
Yeah, well, but there's people armed walking around here and there's still construction going on.
Yeah, but not people who are openly Hamas.
That's true, but I don't know. I'm starting to think, like, what is Hamas but a group of guys that got invaded and then got together and...
Well, if they want
like
their
locally.
country built back up, or, you know, it's not really a country, I don't know, their enclave, like I said here. I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, it sounds like how Trump would describe it, like, oh, it's this beautiful little enclave. I'm going to buy it. Like, I've never heard Gaza described as an enclave till now.
Well, Palestine's the country, right?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
supposedly... allegedly, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, if it's a place or not. But Palestine's the country, and isn't Gaza... Is that a strip that's separated?
The Gaza Strip, yeah, that's a good point.
Right? Because it's like the West Bank and Gaza are like the Palestinian areas.
And the West
And
Bank's
then-
on the east for some reason.
Yeah, because it's the West Bank of the Jordan River.
Yeah.
And then Gaza's on the Red Sea, I think. Yeah. So that split, and then Israel splits those two, right? So Gaza is the chunk on the Red Sea that's just been obliterated.
Yep. I wonder why we don't ever hear about the other side. Like, maybe they just aren't
No,
harming those people at all?
they're slowly creeping into the West Bank too.
Oh, wow. More Free Talk Live coming up. 603-283-6160 to talk about whatever's on your mind. More Free Talk Live coming up.
According to a report released today, the vast majority of American children lack the presence of a strong, sculpted male supermodel, with less than 4% of youngsters being taught the important values of respecting runway etiquette, maintaining a glistening six-pack, and walking a catwalk with verve and flair.
The number of strong-jawed male supermodels in children's lives has declined to record lows, leaving the majority of our youth unaware of how to get comfortable in front of the camera during an underwear shoot or even perform something as simple as a sexy but stylish full turn.
Stanton went on to say that impoverished communities were especially affected by the lack of Adonis-like male figures, and added that children in lower-class homes were over 80% less likely to grow into the type of high-cheekboned, studly he-men that succeed in haute couture society.
Quite frankly, these children are just not getting the necessary influence of a dynamic male supermodel who can both make puppy dog eyes at the camera and also radiate that sort of raw, unabashed machismo that forces fashionistas to look up and take notice.
This is the Onion News Network.
Eleutheromania, the insatiable desire for freedom. It's the new 3-song heavy metal EP from Captain Kickass. Available now on your favorite music app or get it directly from CaptainKickass.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper with the Week in Review. This week, the US and Iran signed a memorandum of understanding, bringing an end to their conflict. The 14-point memo sets out terms for ending the war and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. The deal gives both sides 60 days to resolve the future of Iran's nuclear program, but some Republican lawmakers have already attacked the agreement over the billions of dollars that could now flow to Tehran. FSN's Mitch McCann sent this report.
There are many key unanswered questions that remain here. Among them, what is the future of Iran's nuclear program, something that Donald Trump has talked about since the start of this conflict? Iran has reportedly agreed not to have a nuclear weapon, but what about nuclear power, and how will the US trust the Iranians' word moving forward? What is going to happen in terms of Iran backing, or no longer backing, its regional proxies? And the big question as well is what happens to the Strait of Hormuz after 60 days?
Meanwhile, the first round of planned talks in Switzerland on Friday between the US and Iran was abruptly called off. It came after Israel carried out a wave of deadly strikes on Lebanon on Friday in response to a Hezbollah attack that killed 4 Israeli soldiers. Israel and Hezbollah then recommitted to a ceasefire, but US-Iran negotiations are still in limbo. FSN's Ross Cullen sent this report from Switzerland, where the talks were due to take place on Friday.
The 60-day timeline is open. That is probably the major setback, the fact that they have not been able to use the first 2 days of this 60-day period to be able to start negotiations. But the memorandum that was signed by President Pezeshkian and President Trump, that is still in effect. But there was hopes that there would be the first round of these talks heading towards a final nuclear deal here in Switzerland today, Friday, potentially this weekend. But now we have the statement from the US Vice President's office that right now he is not coming to Switzerland.
US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth this week announced a 6-month Pentagon review of American forces in Europe, while NATO's nuclear planning group issued its first statement in 19 years, both unveiled on Thursday at a defense ministers' meeting in Brussels. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky was also there. FSN's William Denslow was there in Brussels and sent this report.
He met last night with Mark Rutte, the NATO Secretary General. He had a meeting with NATO's defence ministers to discuss continued support. This comes as Mark Rutte estimates that Russia is losing upwards of 35,000 forces each and every month. He says that is signs that Ukraine is in a strong position on the battlefield, but says yet more support is needed.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN. This week, US President Donald Trump's newly appointed chair of the US Federal Reserve chaired his first policy meeting. Under Kevin Walsh, the Fed decided to leave interest rates unchanged. FSN's Kate Fisher in Washington was watching Walsh's first press conference as Fed chair.
Under its new chair, the US Central Bank voted to keep interest rates steady for a fourth straight meeting as Americans struggle with an inflation surge that has pushed prices to their highest level in years. The first policy vote since June last year that did not feature some form of opposition. But the apparent unanimity among officials belies the challenging position that Mr. Walsh finds himself in, having been handpicked for the job by President Trump, who's waged a relentless pressure campaign on the US Central Bank to lower borrowing costs. Delivering that's become all but impossible because of the war with Iran and the inflation that it's unleashed.
British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer could be facing a leadership challenge. It comes after Andy Burnham won a by-election in Greater Manchester. It means he's now a Member of Parliament and can challenge the Prime Minister, as FSN's John Beaver explains.
Of course, those who are the political opponents of the Labour Party, they say, well, if you're going to have this change in Prime Minister, then really it should go back to the people, that you should have this general election. But that's not how the system works. Of course, remember, with the previous Conservative Party, we saw a huge number of changes of the top job from Boris Johnson onwards, and all of that happened without a general election.
Senior security officials from across the BRICS bloc are convening in Delhi this coming week for a high-stakes meeting that could shape the agenda for a leaders' summit in September. The grouping includes China, Russia and Iran. And that's the Week in Review. That's Feature Story News. Nick Harper reporting.
After months of struggling to find their footing, it looks like the GOP has finally found an effective spokesman. Since Republican leaders unveiled the reanimated corpse of Ronald Reagan at a fundraising event last week, the undead former president has quickly emerged as the new face of the Republican Party. Since Reagan was brought back from the grave by GOP leaders in a top-secret $2.2 million reanimation project, poll data shows Reagan with a higher favorability rating than all other high-profile Republicans combined.
The voters know Reagan. They trust Reagan. When he moans at them, they're going to listen.
There's questions as to whether he still has capacity for thought, and he does eat people, but big picture, he's the best option they have right now.
And appeared in a series of GOP ads promoting the Republican Party's traditional values.
Congress and the president say they're trying to help fix our country's economy. Ronald Reagan and the Republican Party have the right idea for America's future.
This is the Onion News Network.
Don't miss a moment of Free Talk Live. Get our archives daily via our podcast at feeds.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160 to get in on the conversation with us and bring up whatever's on your mind. And I'd like to thank Paul for being an amplifier with us here at Free Talk Live. That means that Paul went to amps.freetalklive.com and signed up to support the show. AMPS stands for Advertise, Market, Promote, and Support. Thanks to Paul and everyone who supports us. Again, that's amps.freetalklive.com to check out the perks and benefits of becoming an amplifier. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie,
Riley O'Bill,
and Angelo.
And I just saw this article during the break that really is scary and not, that's just like, I just hate the idea of like somebody I know like thinking they're making money on Polymarket and really it was a scam. That's so scary. Okay, so Wall Street Journal, they looked like they were getting rich on Polymarket, but none of it was real. Isn't that scary?
What does that mean?
I think it was a fake website.
So they just copied the Polymarket website?
I don't really know. I just saw the headline, really, so let's get into it. The prediction market has flooded social media with deceptive videos by paid creators. Oh, That's different than what I was thinking. They looked like they were getting rich on Polymarket, but none of it was real. The creators are pretending to be getting rich on Polymarket to get people to go.
Oh, so you're watching an ad
crazy.
and somebody lies to you in the advertisement?
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's a little less crazy. So we actually have a caller on the line. Pretty good timing. 603-283-6160 is the phone number to get in on the conversation with us. Unscreened caller, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I was just hearing these guys talk about this AI technology taking over and stuff. How much do you guys pay attention to the news and what's going on in the military realm and stuff with the Space Force satellites and nanobot technology, in which they've stated that has been put in the COVID vaccines?
Honestly, I haven't kept up with any of that. The Space Force of the U.S. has nanobot technology, and people are saying it's in the vaccines.
Yes.
Interesting. Tell us more.
Let's see, how do I put this?
Oh, seems like there is some truth to this, as far as like it's not just like some kind of like just a conspiracy. It says the U.S. Space Force focuses heavily on nanomaterials and nanotechnology rather than science fiction swarms of self-replicating nanobots. Oh, it's just like correcting my use of the word nanobot. But yeah, it actually, nanomaterials and nanotechnology, the branch leverages nanoscale engineering to develop durable satellite components, lightweight materials, and advanced sensors. So yeah, I could see people like being suspicious of what this new technology can do. And you're saying that it's inside the vaccines?
That's what I've been seeing and hearing on the internet.
So are you talking like the mRNA technology? Or what vaccines? Are you talking specifically about the COVID vaccines?
No, I think they're talking about nanomaterials, nanoparticles.
Yeah, but the nanoparticles in relation to what vaccine?
Oh, the COVID vaccine?
Yes, that's what they are saying on the internet about it and stuff. They can also spray you with a mist and infect you with these nanobite things. They said there's 20 times smaller than a hair.
Wow.
If you remember back, I think in the late 70s, early 80s, the medical field was coming out and developing these nanobots in which they could inject into the bloodstream and direct it with like a controller, like a joystick controller and stuff, and target certain areas where they could get in and do surgery and stuff with them.
Oh, yeah, like and not endoscopic surgery, stereoscopic surgeries, where it's almost like a robot doing the work.
Yep, but they're little nanobot things that they inject into your bloodstream.
I don't know. That's real?
Yeah, it is real.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I've
it's
heard
not even
about
just the 80s. It says role of nanotechnology behind the success of our mRNA. Suspicions grow that nanoparticles and Pfizer's COVID vaccine trigger rare allergic reactions. So, like, these things are real. It's just like there is probably kind of a conspiracy or, like suspicion around, like, oh, and now the Space Force is all interested in nanomaterials. Like, what if they're, like, in the SpongeBob movie, I reference this all the time, Plankton, he doesn't find the Krabby Patty secret formula. Instead, he like starts giving away Happy Meals, and so people start eating at his restaurant. Or maybe he does have the formula, but either way, in order to keep his customers, he gives them all these Happy Meals, and they come with a hat. So everybody's walking around with the hat, and then all of a sudden, the hat gets activated by like this. It's not a satellite, but it's like a radio tower.
Like a radio tower, yeah.
And when it activates it, everybody who was, a sheep, all walking around wearing these chum bucket hats, it covers their head and then it can control them. So I could see that being the conspiracy here. Is that kind of where these people are going for that you called, or that you were listening to, caller?
Yeah, that's kind of the technology in which the AI system
chum bucket
they're
technology.
trying to develop through all of that, where they, back in the late 50s, early 60s, the CIA was trying to develop a Manchurian candidate where they could program a person to go do things, and they wouldn't know they were doing it.
Well, try. I'm pretty sure that's...
No, they were trying.
Yeah, no, well, I try. I think they
You think
did.
they were successful?
Yeah, 100%.
MK Ultra.
I do think
Yeah,
that
MK Ultra, all that. I don't. I'm not even gonna open that right now.
it definitely was actually something that they were trying to do, and there's no conspiracy there. Like, there are government documents proving that. So if anyone listening is suspicious on that, I think most people know about MK Ultra now, which is like crazy to me.
Yeah, but it's always the same thing of like, oh yeah, we were bad back then, but we don't do that anymore.
Yeah,
and
they
then 20
burn
years
tons
later, it'll be like, yeah, we did that actually, but we don't do that anymore. And then 20 years later, it's like, oh yeah, we did 9/11, but we're not going to do that again. You know, like it'll just, it's the snowball. It never changes.
It never changes for sure, Angelo.
Yeah.
So, where are you listening from, by the way, caller? The radio or?
Radio.
Oh, awesome. What, do you mind saying what radio station?
Jackson Station.
Jackson Station. Okay, is that
Do you know the call letters?
I don't remember the call letters. I wish I could go into full details about this, and because
about the nanoparticles?
Yeah, and Space Force and their satellites and stuff. Have you seen on the news here a while back ago that it was on a news station and where they had these line of lights flying across the sky?
Back in like New Jersey?
Yeah.
Oh.
And they were calling in and asking what those lights are. Those are Space Force satellites.
Interesting.
I remember people were thinking that they were drones at the time and stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't hear that it was from the Space Force. I wouldn't be surprised. Whenever I hear something like that.
Is that something that, so are you saying everybody with the COVID vaccine can be activated? Is that kind of the idea here?
Like the Chum Bucket hat.
Yeah, so like, is it to like control them, or is it like an off switch? Like a kill switch installed in a car?
It depends on if you're a targeted person in which they're interested in. Otherwise, everybody else is just being monitored because they are. Have you heard about the Voice to Skull program that people are complaining about all over the country?
I've heard about it, yeah.
I've heard about it too. Not that people are recently complaining, but I've heard of the idea.
But that's the technology in which it's making it being able to be done through the nanobot things.
Yeah, that would. I can kind of follow that because there is that one story of she was an actress or something. She got like a filling done, and she was walking down the street, and she kept getting like CIA radio signals. Or she was picking up a government radio wave somehow, like Voice to Skull. And she talked about it on one of these late night talk shows. But so that's like a known story of where, yeah, she ended up becoming like an antenna for this radio, like walkie-talkie station.
Yeah, I've heard of people that got braces and stuff like that saying that happened, that they could hear radio stations and stuff. I don't know.
So, but I could see the satellites and the nanoparticles kind of working in the same idea as of like a metal filling and a radio tower kind of interacting. Right. So I don't know.
I've also heard of these targeted persons, the idea of these targeted persons. What do you think makes someone a targeted person? Like somebody whose psychology is right for making them like go crazy and like kill people, or maybe somebody who they think that knows too much?
Could be. I'm not exactly sure why they target who they target.
I can also I have feelings that if you're heavily involved with the system from a young age, they could probably just pick you as like a study because you've already, like if you're a foster kid or something, like they've already gotten a hold of you. They know who you are. And if you keep running into the system, it's almost like they can use you for a study.
It's easier for you to disappear. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not like a disappearing act, but like.
But if something goes wrong with you.
Or like a long-term study. Hey, we'll push this kid in a certain direction and we'll see what happens because we've got a hold of him at 4. So we can kind of like almost Truman show him.
Yeah.
But not entirely, right? Just kind of like how will he respond if we put him in this home, in this kind of like situation, and how is he going to react?
Oh my God, what if this is somehow...
Not to the level of like cameras following him everywhere. But, we interacted with this kid at 4, and now he's arrested at 14, and he's going to be arrested at 22. You can kind of keep track of him like that.
What if the Neuralink is going to come out to make these things easier too?
It wouldn't surprise me.
You've heard of, I think his first name is Stephen Hawkins.
Yep. Stephen Hawking, yeah.
Remember how he couldn't speak, but yet just before he passed away, he was up on stage giving a lecture, and it was all done through a computer.
Yep.
Oh. Through his
Same
brain,
technology.
right? Yeah, I forgot about that.
Same technology.
He had a Neuralink thing that was like, oh, that's like, how could we possibly know that was really him and not just like a slideshow they had playing? You know what I mean?
I understand that, but
Yeah.
I was approached a couple years ago, and a young man, he introduced himself. I helped him change a tire on the side of the road. How they engage in meeting you. Because I'm a person, I see somebody on the side of the road, I always stop and help them. I'm always helping people. I've always done that. So they used my own sense of morality to make contact with me in that situation. And he told me he was going to drive me crazy. Now I hear him all the time and stuff. And he's involved in this nanobot technology, which is that voice to skull program.
The guy that you actually helped?
Yes.
So how did that conversation come about? Was he just like, hey man, I'm going to curse you. You're cursed now. I'm going to drive you crazy.
This is a long story, a lot of details in it about me meeting different people and different people coming up. And like I said, I talked to a guy about 10 years ago and stuff, and he told me he was going to turn me into the CIA. He started calling me a prophet, and I kept telling him I'm not a prophet, so quit calling me that.
Why do you think he would call you a prophet?
Because we met in church. And
can I ask what kind of church? What denomination of church? Is it like a Southern Baptist kind of place, or?
Yes.
Yeah, that one. Honestly, I'm more inclined to believe this than not.
Yeah, I believe him.
I could 100% see the government doing some awful thing like this.
Yeah.
To a target, especially through something like the church.
You said yes, it was Baptist?
Yes,
Oh,
it was a Southern Baptist church.
Okay.
Yeah, very CIA influenced organization.
Yep, Baptist church here in Michigan.
Oh, okay, so
And,
Michigan.
And so he tried to convince you that you were a prophet. This is super glowy. This feels glowy.
Do you
approaching a stranger, trying to convince them that they're a prophet to start some kind of weird cult.
Have you ever left the town of where you are in Michigan, and do you still hear the voices?
Yes, they're drones, whether you want to call them drones or satellites. They follow me wherever I go. I have 5 of them on me every night for the last 5 years.
Oh, wow.
About 2-3 years ago, when they started telling me they were going to drive me crazy, and I was just their puppet on a string, and I told them they were crazy. I ain't nobody's puppet but God, Jehovah's, and they laughed at me. They have since used their satellite technology, in which they've made my arms move without me being able to stop them, because our body, the muscles and everything are controlled by electricity and our nerves. And with these nanobots, they can go in and connect to the nerves and stuff and make them do whatever they want. They've connected into my vocal cords, and where they've changed the pitch of my voice whenever they want. They've made me say things that I would never say 3 different times and laugh at me. They told me I'm just a puppet on their string, and they can make me do anything they want.
So why are they allowing you to call into talk radio right now?
I don't know.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like they control everything. Well, that, he's not, I don't think he's saying that he's in total control. But have you ever tried going to a doctor to see if maybe you have something wrong with your nerves? Maybe there's things like restless arms and leg syndrome.
I understand that perspective of it, but no, that is not what's happening. That's why I'm cautious about telling people about this stuff, because they think I'm crazy.
I don't think you're
But
crazy
you-
or anything.
Yeah.
But they told me they was going to make me the false prophet.
Hmm.
You know, biblical times.
Yep.
We're being in the last days.
You don't still go to that church, do you? Or do you?
Yes. The man, he left. I had a motorcycle, and he was helping me work on it because I am severely disabled physically. I have 7 fused vertebrae. I ripped out rotator cuffs, some long head bicep tendons. Both shoulders are gone. I have a 10-pound weight restriction, no bending, twisting, or leaning.
Wow, that's from a
Makes life
motorcycle
very-
accident?
No, that was from working in a foundry.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Thought you said
I
something about a
used to-
motorcycle. Sorry.
Yeah, but
this
I had
man, the
motorcycle.
CIA agent, was helping him work on a motorcycle because
Oh.
he's so
Yeah.
limited in his movement.
Yeah, because I was unable to do any of the work myself. He volunteered to help me out. He took the anchor bolt out of my caliper and set me down on the road. And when the caliper didn't go into the front wheel and I put it back on the bike, duct taped it on so it didn't come back off, went to the bike shop, bought a new anchor bolt, went back up to his house and pulled in. He comes walking out and he says, "It don't matter how we try to kill you, you just won't die. How come?" So I explained to him, "You can't kill me until God says so, because my body has already been dead twice with me out of it."
You
the
have
second
had
time it was,
near-death experiences?
body was dead.
Do you remember anything from that
Was
time?
this from the foundry accident or?
No, this was the first time I was 16 years old. I quit breathing. My body collapsed to the floor, and I was still standing there. The people I was with stepped over my body, stepped through me, and I'm sitting there screaming at them. And all of a sudden, these 2 hands grabbed me by my ankles and started dragging me away from my body the first time when I was 16.
Huh. Interesting.
Do you remember
And
anything
I'm-
else? Like, did they take you? Do you remember where they were taking you?
They were dragging me away from my body, and when I turned around and looked, it went total darkness, and I just seen a sea of different colored eyes all over the place, and I seen these 3 huge monster-like things taking a person, and one would slam him to the ground, and then the next one would grab me, pick him up, slam him to the ground, and the 2 that had a hold of me, dragging me off into that darkness. One laughed. He says, "Ha ha ha! We got us another one, boys." And I'm freaking out good, right? And I kept stick my face back into the room where my body was at, and they resuscitated my body. And when my body gasped for air, I went back into my body.
Wow. What about your second one? Was it more positive near-death experience?
Yes. The second one, I was in a vehicle. I was a passenger in a vehicle, and we missed a curve. And I went through the windshield. I shattered both femurs. I went through the windshield. I had a 2.5 inch deep cut into my skull.
Whoa.
I opened my eyes up, and there was a bright light, and I covered my eyes and got my eyes adjusted to the light, and I realized they were operating room lights. And I sat up and had a ruptured spleen, and they had my stomach split open. One of the people was holding my intestines up, running their hands down, and people were operating on my legs because putting my legs back together.
But you didn't feel
I sat up
anything?
and was looking at that. No, I didn't.
You were out
feel
of body?
anything.
Huh.
I was getting out of the body at that time.
Yeah. Did you go anywhere else
And-
from there? Did you leave the
No.
room? Oh.
Nope. I as I sat up, I was looking inside of my body, what they were doing inside of my stomach and everything. Then I was looking at what they were doing inside of my legs and stuff. And then I turned around and looked, and there was a bunch of people working on my head.
Whoa.
And 3 nurses ran around and started squeezing the bags of blood, trying to force it in and everything. And I looked up, and the top of the hospital was gone. It was just darkness, and there was a light, pin needle light, way, way up in the sky. And I thought, oh, that's cool. That must be an angel.
Wow.
And I went back down and looking at my body and stuff, and about 2-3 seconds later, that little speck of light was in the room next to me. The operating lights weren't even on compared to that light that was standing beside me, and the form of a man stood in there and started talking. I fell to my face and right down, and I tried to crawl underneath my body to hide, but there's no hiding. he said 4 things to me, and the 4th thing that he said to me was, lay back down, it's not your time yet. So ever since that time, that's why I told Mr. Doug Schaefer when he said, no matter how we try to kill you, you just won't die. I said, God says it's when my time is, and you can't kill me until God says it's my time.
Man, you sound like you're one tough cookie, brother. I'm
know,
not gonna
right?
lie. You sound like you got some grit to you.
Well, we are about to go on break. I would like to hear more from you another night. What's your name, caller? Frederick from Michigan. If you want to call back, we're on every weekend, 7 to 10 Eastern. Thanks for the call so much, Frederick. More Free Talk Live coming up. 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs.
As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love,
and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond these parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way.
Love as your guide.
And liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper with the Week in Review. This week, the US and Iran signed a memorandum of understanding, bringing an end to their conflict. The 14-point memo sets out terms for ending the war and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. The deal gives both sides 60 days to resolve the future of Iran's nuclear program. But some Republican lawmakers have already attacked the agreement over the billions of dollars that could now flow to Tehran. FSN's Mitch McCann sent this report.
There are many key unanswered questions that remain here. Among them, what is the future of Iran's nuclear program, something that Donald Trump has talked about since the start of this conflict. Iran has reportedly agreed not to have a nuclear weapon, but what about nuclear power, and how will the US trust the Iranians' word moving forward? What is going to happen in terms of Iran backing or no longer backing its regional proxies? And the big question as well is what happens to the Strait of Hormuz after 60 days?
Meanwhile, the first round of planned talks in Switzerland on Friday between the US and Iran was abruptly called off. It came after Israel carried out a wave of deadly strikes on Lebanon on Friday in response to a Hezbollah attack that killed 4 Israeli soldiers. Israel and Hezbollah then recommitted to a ceasefire, but US-Iran negotiations are still in limbo. FSN's Ross Cullen sent this report from Switzerland, where the talks were due to take place on Friday.
The 60-day timeline is open. That is probably the major setback, the fact that they have not been able to use the first 2 days of this 60-day period to be able to start negotiations. But the memorandum that was signed by President Pezeshkian and President Trump, that is still in effect. But there was hopes that there would be the first round of these talks heading towards a final nuclear deal here in Switzerland today, Friday, potentially this weekend. But now we have the statement from the US Vice President's office that right now he is not coming to Switzerland.
US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth this week announced a 6-month Pentagon review of American forces in Europe, while NATO's nuclear planning group issued its first statement in 19 years, both unveiled on Thursday at a defense ministers' meeting in Brussels. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky was also there. FSN's William Denslow was there in Brussels and sent this report.
He met last night with Mark Rutte, the NATO Secretary General. He had a meeting with NATO's defence ministers to discuss continued support. This comes as Mark Rutte estimates that Russia is losing upwards of 35,000 forces each and every month. He says that is signs that Ukraine is in a strong position on the battlefield, but says yet more support is needed.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
We're still not sure why you'd want to watch, but our video feed is streaming nightly for free at cam.freetalklive.com.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. That means that you can call 603-283-6160, 603-283-6160. And ForkFest 2026 is going on this week, starting Monday. ForkFest 2026. You can email forkfest2026@gmail.com to become one of the people on the list. And you can go to forkfest.wtf. That's FORK fest.wtf to learn more. It's in Errol, New Hampshire, in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire, in a campground called Northern Waters Campground in Errol, and it's much smaller than the typical Pork Fest campground that Fork Fest is usually the week before or after at, but it's going to be a more intimate and really fun group of people. So far, the people that are going to start showing up on Monday are all people I really like and am excited to see. And that's forkfest.wtf, forkfest.wtf for more info. With you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Riley O'Bill.
And Angelo.
So before we continue, I have a question about this Fork Fest thing. Are you guys going to be giving away a lot of forks there? Or is there going to be a lot of food? Is there going to be an eating contest?
No, it's just that it's a fork of Pork Fest.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there is going to be food, but not giving away food.
Oh, dang. I was hoping
It's
to
not
get a free
Burning
fork.
Man. People pay for their stuff at capitalism. At Fork Fest.
All right.
Pro-capitalism.
Well, I heard that it's like a barter system at Burning Man.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's more like a
Well,
gift
whatever.
economy.
Yeah, and it's like
am I
if you
thinking
have
rainbow or
bacon, you're
something?
rich.
Am I thinking of like the bank or rainbow people or something that they're not allowed to charge things, like they
I
get
don't
in
know.
trouble? I don't know. Either way, I bet some crazy backroom deals go on at stuff like Burning Man.
I imagine so.
Yeah, because there's a crazy amount of drugs at stuff like Burning Man.
not even just like, oh, I bought 1 million drugs there. I mean something
Oh,
like,
you mean like we're gonna meet and talk about?
yeah, because there's like
business?
no government here, and there's rules that are just not normal. I don't know. Like, oh, I bought $1 million something that's worth $1 million, but it was at Burning Man, so I bartered for this. You know, some weird like hands changing. Just, I bet some crazy stuff goes on there
Like
we didn't know
artifacts,
about that we'll
like-
never know about. Yeah.
Iraqi stolen artifacts getting sold in Hobby Lobby.
Oh my god, I was about to say there's somebody that stole a bunch, or not stole, they bought a bunch, but yeah, it was Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think they were all like from the Promised Land though, not Iraqi.
Oh, I thought they bought a bunch of stuff that would.
It could be like the.
Well, I know Hobby Lobby bought pieces of the Dead Sea Scroll, a lot of them, and it turns out that they're fake.
Oh, really? They were fake?
Yeah, because
Wow.
it's like on it's leather bound, and the real parts are papyrus bound. So it's
How could you be tricked that it was leather bound? They didn't have that. If they had leather, they wouldn't need their papyrus, right?
True.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. Is they thought they were buying fragments. That they are super old, but they're just not the Dead Sea Scrolls.
I'm googling when was leather invented. Invented. It says it was not invented by a single person, but rather developed over thousands of years. Early humans first began scrapping and using animal hides for survival clothing around 400,000 years ago. Okay, wait. So they definitely had leather. So why didn't they use that for writing? Was it just easier?
Well, because it was. I'm pretty sure the
Leather is
wasn't it
hard
found
to
in
write
Egypt?
on, I imagine.
Yeah. Look it
But
up.
if you could just
You just
scratch
Google Hobby Lobby fake Dead Sea Scrolls. and
No,
it'll
it's fine. I
explain
believe
it
you
to
on all that and everything. It's just I was like thinking to myself, like, no, that's got to be more recent.
No, it was something like the papyrus was what was used for the time in that part of the world. So like the leather ones are like more Roman age, if that makes any sense. Like it's like a later period.
Like, or maybe also the area, because it was like it said, multiple people from all over the world kind of invented it, not just one at a time. It says the Dead Sea Scrolls were not leather bound because they were produced in the scroll format, which was the standard method of writing and storing documents. So I guess that's why they got a thing that was
well, not
the
leather
book
bound.
format.
Like the scroll. The scroll was made out of animal skin, not
okay.
papyrus.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If that makes sense. I guess leather bound is the wrong term. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
But it was like an animal skin scroll piece and not a papyrus scroll piece. If that makes sense. That's the
why
Hobby
were they
Lobby
writing
one.
on papyrus? Is papyrus just way cheaper? That's
Yeah, it's like
that's maybe
paper.
why it would last longer, and I don't know. Like if
Well,
you were
they-
trying to do something to make it last.
I don't think
forever.
I don't think they were. I think it just got stuck in a cave,
Yeah.
and that cave got closed and forgotten about, and it just happened to last for that long. I don't think it was designed to, you know what I mean? It wasn't a time
Oh, it
capsule.
says at the time those people did write on animal skins as well. Interesting. Okay, whatever. All I know is that at Fork Fest we are definitely not commies. Riley.
I was hoping you would be a commie because I'm disabled and I deserve more.
Oh my god. I was hoping you would be a commie, Riley.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm a woman.
Yeah, because you make good
Had to
bread.
think of something.
So you should just give it to me.
Because you don't know how to make bread, is that it?
Yeah, dog. I got no. Don't put me in a baking
I'm
competition.
just jealous
bro.
of people that
I'll
know
burn
how to
stuff.
make bread, so you should give me some.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I should have access to your skills for free.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So this is from activistpost.com again, and I thought it was kind of, I don't know, on topic. Last hour of the show, kind of like conspiracy hours, I guess. First, 5 things to know about pesticides, cancer, and a pending Supreme Court ruling. So maybe, because I know that they kind of review these Supreme Court cases in like batches. Maybe this and the Hawaii gun thing are like in the next like batch is going to come out. I don't know if they put them by, I don't know if they categorize them or something, but apparently it's pending. So after years of lawsuits against agrochemical companies and battles over environmental regulations, the nation's highest court is expected to rule this summer on a case that could significantly alter the pesticide industry. The U.S. Supreme Court is expected to rule next month on whether lawsuits can be brought against pesticide and herbicide makers over claims their products have caused cancer. The court heard arguments in the case in April. I mean, in other countries, they've already like decided this happens with a lot of pesticides that America hasn't decided that with, but let's see. The court heard arguments in the case in April, and the justices appeared split. With a ruling weeks away, here are 5 things to know about the topic of pesticide use and cancer. 1. Geographic correlation between heavy pesticide use and high cancer rates. Numerous studies and an analysis of federal data have shown a potential correlation between pesticide use and cancer. Out of the 500 U.S. counties with the highest pesticide use per square mile, largely concentrated in corn, soybean, and fruit-producing states like Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, California, and Florida, 60% have cancer rates higher than the national average of 460 cases per 100,000 people. A 2024 study in Frontiers in Cancer Control and Study in Frontiers in Cancer Control and Society, that must be like the publication, suggests the impact of pesticide use on cancer incidence may rival that of smoking. I mean, so I guess we'll see.
I mean, they're talking about glyphosate because we already know that stuff's bad for you, man. Turning the freaking frogs gay.
It's poisoning the food.
Sorry. Hit my mic there. Thousands of lawsuits. This is number 2. We have a list. Lists are fun on the radio. Number 2. Thousands of lawsuits have been won against agrochemical companies. Wow.
I.e. Monsanto and
I'm
Roundup.
surprised so many have been won against people like those, though, because I would think those people are just like winning.
Well, I know Roundup lost big time. Big time. Roundup had to pay a lot of people for the cancer that it caused.
Yeah, I used to see that on TV.
Yeah.
State courts have also found that correlation credible as Bayer, the maker of the herbicide Roundup, has lost thousands of cases and agreed to pay more than $12 billion in settlements, including individual jury verdicts, such as an initial $2 billion award in California and a recent $1.2 million verdict in Missouri. The company has since dedicated $1 billion to the... No, I'm just kidding. I couldn't spit it out. It's a joke, though. The Gaza Peace Group.
Yeah.
Now, Gaza has a seat in them.
Bear has a seat on the...
Oh, yeah, Bear, I meant to say, has a seat. And they're Never mind.
You tried.
Can't think of words right now.
It's
I guess
there.
I'm getting tired. So according to the company, more than 65,000 lawsuits have been filed by farmers, gardeners, and other users alleging the chemical caused their cancer. I mean, that's not the same as winning 65,000 cases. But it says they've lost thousands. Okay. I want to know exactly how many they lost, but I don't think they've lost 65,000, but there have been 65,000 suits. Number 3, companies push for liability shields. In response to these lawsuits, agrochemical companies have aggressively lobbied for state-level bans on this type of litigation. Often referred to as liability shield laws, they would essentially say that because the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has not warned of a link to cancer, state-level claims would be void. So the companies want state-level... Wait, no?
No, the companies want to go, the feds haven't said it's bad, so you can't sue me for it.
Yeah, they want a ban on the type of litigation.
Yeah.
But,
And they're saying that's because the EPA hasn't said that it causes cancer. So you can't sue me for causing cancer if the federal government says it doesn't cause cancer. You know, because like...
No, the state level, but still, yeah.
Well, but they're saying that...
Oh, because the
federal
EPA.
government, the EPA, doesn't consider it cancer causing. You can't sue me at the state level saying it causes cancer. Which I think in California, that's already like not a thing. Everything in,
California has a thing that says cancer.
Yeah, this has been known to the state of California to cause cancer.
Yeah, I hate that stuff.
Yeah, that's...
Creeps me out.
Well, it's because everything causes cancer. Even an apple has a certain level of carcinogens. But apparently it's good for you. I don't know.
Yep. Going on airplanes radiates you. A lot of people don't even know that at all. They're just going on.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what level?
Flight, though.
It's not like at a high level to where you're like, everyone is Chernobyl, but
compared to like
higher
an
than-
X-ray, like...
I don't know if it's higher than an X-ray. Let's see, actually. I know it's, it's higher than just standing on the ground.
Well, because I know they make you wear the leather apron. They make you wear not leather.
It's a lead apron.
The lead apron when you take an X-ray. So, I mean, if it's at the same level, I don't know. That doesn't feel good.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. It said, I wrote, radiation on airplane versus X-ray. It says, airplane flights and X-rays both expose you to low levels of ionizing radiation, but in different ways. A standard X-ray chest delivers roughly 0.02 to 0.1 millisieverts. I can't read that, so that's the unit. So let's just say units, MSV, of radiation. A long-haul flight, like transatlantic trip, exposes you to about 0.03 to 0.1 MSV of cosmic radiation. So it's really similar, but I guess it just matters.
So
like,
what does that mean for somebody who's like a pilot,
all
though?
at once? Oh, that's a good point.
Is he getting an X-ray every time he goes up in the air?
I don't know, because it says the type is different. So maybe it's like an X-ray is like everything at once. Like, so it's like worse for you, maybe?
But the flight is like over an extended period of time kind of thing.
And it has to be like a long flight to even get close to an X-ray.
Yeah.
So on an airplane, you're exposed to cosmic radiation from space. Because the atmosphere is thinner at cruising altitudes around 30,000 to 40,000 feet, it provides less shielding. An X-ray machine, on the other hand, uses a focused artificial beam of electromagnetic energy. So I guess the actual type matters. And then duration. An X-ray happens in a split second, localized exactly where your doctor needs the image. A flight exposes your whole body, but the dose is spread out over several hours. So I guess that's why it's a big deal. But yeah, like a pilot, that's still a good question. So like...
Because it's like, the nurses who take the X-rays, they get behind the shield. They get out the room.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to be exposed to that. And that was because they found out that the technicians were getting cancer from taking a bunch of X-rays every day.
Wow.
So now they had to, that's why they started putting them behind the shield.
I just wrote, so is that bad for pilots? So this is listening to Bonnie talk to ChatGPT talk live, but it wrote, yes, the cumulative dose means commercial pilots and flight attendants are officially classified as occupational radiation workers. Never even heard of that.
Wow.
In fact, the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine issued a major report urging the FAA to formalize safety protections against this occupational hazard. Wow. That's crazy.
I wonder how many like ex-military people, like Air Force members, have gotten cancers that they didn't even know about
That
or
were
think
related.
about that were related to flying.
Well, if you're in the
so
Air
much.
Force, you signed away your soul and everything anyway.
No, that's true.
Not just your soul, but like actually your health
That's true.
and everything.
Well, I'm even thinking about like the old planes, like the big, it's like a bus that just got thrown in the air. Like a Greyhound that flies kind of thing. And what kind of radiation those guys might have been. And they didn't even know, and then they end up getting cancer like in the 90s, 80s, 90s, like our grandparents kind of age people who had to go through that kind of thing.
It says the general public limit, the safe limit for the public is 1 MSV per year. The average pilot intake is 2 to 6 MSV per year.
Wow.
How much does that increase your likelihood of cancer?
It says, what are the actual risks? Slightly higher cancer risks. Studies from the CDC show that flight crews have slightly higher risks of certain cancers. That includes breast cancer in female flight attendants. I thought men get breast cancer too, and a roughly 2 times higher incidence of melanoma skin cancer across all crew members. So it doesn't seem like it's like a lot, but early onset cataracts are big. Pregnancy risks. Oh, that's really creepy. I didn't even think about that. Like, I've never even seen a pregnant flight attendant or anything like that. I wonder if they're just told like you can't be pregnant here. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they put them on leave and it's like just stay out of the air because it is probably dangerous. I know they don't let super pregnant women fly. There's like complications.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
there can be a problem.
I mean, I would just think if I was pregnant, I wouldn't want to do it, but I didn't know they don't let them,
Yeah, there can be, or I think doctors can prevent you from flying. Like they'll tell you like don't fly, stay here.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if the airline can take you off. If they think, an airline can kick you off for any reason that they want, really. It's a private company. But I don't know I don't think they have like a rule against pregnant women. I just think it's ill-advised.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, companies are trying to get liability shields, of course, like the vaccine companies have these liability shields that are crazy. Number 4, the Trump administration has largely sided with the pesticide makers.
That's not very maha.
Right. It says the push for stricter pesticide regulation has created unusual alliances between left-leaning environmentalists and conservative health advocates under the Make America Healthy Again banner. After an initial Health and Human Services report linked pesticide use to childhood health issues, the agency's final report last year walked back all regulatory calls and instead pivoted to promote public confidence in current EPA standards. Why would that be your response? I don't get it. I'm not saying I'm all for regulations. It's just that I'm like, well, instead we just want people to trust the EPA. I don't get it. President Trump also signed an executive order this year declaring glyphosate critical to national security, and his administration...
So it can't be banned? That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really insidious, I think.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was crazy. I forgot about that. And his administration actively sided with Bayer during oral arguments before the Supreme Court.
Big Ag is... I don't think people talk about how evil Big Ag is. They're almost
strong
as evil...
sisters on Instagram do.
Or even more evil than the pharmaceutical companies. But everybody, they push for these campaigns, like the No Farms, No Foods. Like that, in theory, that's great, but it's all pushed by Big Ag and these mega corporations that have bought up a ton of family farms. This is like something in the past 10 years. It's like 65% of family-owned farms have disappeared
because they got bought up
They've
by
been
bigger
bought
people.
up by bigger people, and then those guys turn around and lobby. Like the corn industry that's hyper inflated by the U.S. government. We subsidize all the corn production in the United States, and that's why we put so much corn syrup into everything, because it is cheaper to use sugar, but we just have so much corn, we don't know what to do with it, so we just turn it into corn syrup. No, because it's no.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even thinking that. I was just laughing at the fact you were like, no, don't stop growing corn.
But
because it's so
I'm just saying
profitable.
It's not profitable. I'm just saying as the corn farmer, the mega corporation, they're subsidized.
Yeah.
They don't want to stop growing corn. They get paid to grow corn.
I know. It's like when me and Ian first started looking at ingredients period in the grocery store, when I was like, okay, I want to start looking for just like, I don't want to eat corn. That takes away like 50% of the grocery store. Like things that you just wouldn't expect at all to have corn in it. And when you do corn and soy.
Eating's like so modified as it is,
Yeah, it's like
it's
meal
not maize.
powder.
It's not even the original
corn.
crop's maize, right? And they're small.
Yeah, smaller.
They're like 4 to 5 inches. Yeah, different colors. The kernels are a lot tougher. It's better for like cornmeal, right? Like you turn it into a powder and then use it to bake like cornbread.
Yeah.
But like this big yellow corn that we know and love here in America, it's not good for you, right? You've eaten corn, right? You can't digest it. The whatever we've done to it, it's not.
It takes vitamin B out of your body, from what I hear.
Yeah, we've totally destroyed the crop, and we subsidize it for animal feed too. It's a racket. Everything's just been turned into a racket, and the federal government's propping it up. The deeper you look into these corporations, it's just a racket, and they're all propped up through government subsidies and some kind of sketchy money moving around, right? And it just never. You're always told to point the finger at like the Elon Musks, but if the government wasn't helping them do all these terrible things, then they wouldn't be doing them.
Or have the ability because of
or have
monopoly.
The ability,
and
yes. They couldn't.
Like yep. And regulating the competition out and stuff like that. So Trump doing things like making glyphosate critical to national security, and his administration actively sided with Bayer during oral arguments before the Supreme Court. In April, Maha activists celebrated a win after the House voted to remove a pesticide industry-backed provision from its farm bill. The debate is expected to continue as the Senate drafts its own version of the farm bill.
The farm bill is the corn subsidies. They call it the farm bill. And even I think SNAP is in the farm bill. Part of food stamps is under the farm bill.
Oh, wow.
I know free student lunches is under the farm bill. They put a bunch of stuff underneath the farm bill when it's really just government programs.
Yeah.
And then everybody goes, "Oh, you're against the farm bill? No farms, no food, pal. We need to support our farmers, man." And then they continue to go to places like Walmart.
Yeah.
And buy not local produce or poultry and meat.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that doesn't make sense.
They don't go to J.D. for chicken.
The problem arises. Yeah. Okay, so number 5. Supreme Court hears arguments on national liability National Liability Shield ban. In April, the U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments in Monsanto versus Darnell, in which Monsanto, owned by Bayer, argued that because the EPA has ruled glyphosate is unlikely to be carcinogenic, federal law preempts states from requiring cancer warning labels or awarding damages through state juries. A decision is expected in July. Wow. So the EPA, I wonder what their what flaws were in their studies where they decided that.
Money. Somebody at Monsanto, money.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's really, I'm pretty sure it's the Monsanto guy, the ex-CEO of Monsanto became the head of the EPA.
Oh, things like that happen all the time.
Yeah.
Like people in seed oil companies getting into places where they can regulate seed oil companies. Things like that.
Well, it's the same thing with the military-industrial complex, right? You retire as a lieutenant and then you go work at Raytheon and then you make sure that contract goes your way because the guys who decide where the contracts go, right? You play golf with them.
Mm-hmm. When I Googled just like ex-CEO of Monsanto becoming EPA, it says no former CEO of Monsanto has ever become the administrator of the EPA. However, several former Monsanto executives, lawyers, and lobbyists have been appointed to high-level advisory and deputy roles within the EPA and other federal regulatory agencies over the years. Yep. Like we said.
It's the revolving door, the revolving bureaucratic door. You get kicked from private to public and back and forth for 20, 30 years, and then suddenly you have a couple $1 million.
The government's trying to kill us, but they just don't know why we just won't die because it's not our time yet. They're trying to get us with the glyphosate. When I was born, 1986 was the year that they let loose on pesticides, and they started using way more pesticides, like some law allowed them to start doing it. And I really think that everybody my age and younger has way more health problems because of it. But more Free Talk Live tomorrow, so you can tell us what you think on that. And freetalklive.com for more. That's freetalklive.com. Thanks for listening. Peace.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's